Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice-cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Homeowners, the 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. Let me say that again. The 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. If you've been procrastinating about your home's solar addition, stop. Call locally owned Gabroods Services and schedule your solar appointment today. Gabroods is the recognized Northern California specialist for everything electrical, panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, and especially residential solar installation. Gabroods experts do it all, and they do it right the first time. The 30% federal tax credit ends soon. Stop procrastinating. Call Gabroods and schedule your appointment for solar now. Family owned and operated for 30 years. Visit Gabroods.com. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Man, do we have a lot to talk about today? Oh, yes, we do. How are you? Good afternoon, everybody. So awesome to have you here on Fox Sports Sacramento. So the Sacramento Kings want Russell Westbrook. And my question is, why? Why? Why don't we start with level one and work our way right up to the top of the building? So let's go. We're on the ground floor, right? Here's my question. Why is it that on October 15th, right, opening night is 6 days away, and for most teams, it's 7 nights away? A week from tonight, the majority of teams in the NBA begin play. There are a couple of games on Tuesday night. If Russell Westbrook is still so good and can help a team, why is it that 29 other teams did not want Russell Westbrook? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself why the Denver Nuggets, who were 48 minutes away from the NBA Finals last year, Game 7, OKC. If they win, they're on to the big show. How come they didn't want Westbrook back? Huh? Why not? Why would they not want Russell Westbrook back? How come the Houston Rockets would not say, you know what, we just lost Fred VanVleet. Let's go after Russell Westbrook. He's available. Why not? We'll make it work. Talk about a veteran team. You got Kevin Durant. You've got a team that is supremely coached by Ime Udoka. You've got a team that is projected to be really, really good, just like the Denver Nuggets are supposed to be really good this year. But they didn't want Russell Westbrook. But the Sacramento Kings, they decide that they want Westbrook. And my question is, why? Here's step 2 as we move up the ladder to go to the top of the building. What are the expectations for the Kings this year? Their over-under is 34.5. Most people feel the Kings will be fortunate to win half their games, and that at the best, they will be a play-in team. What's the worst thing you can do if you're in the NBA? What's the worst thing you can do? The worst thing is to be just kind of in the middle of the road. You're not good enough to compete. And by compete, I mean make it into the top 8, win a playoff series in advance. And you're not bad enough where unless you get really, really lucky in the lottery, you snag that real prize possession in the draft. It's the worst place you can be. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 games. It's the worst place you can be. It's no man's land in the NBA. No man's land. And that's where the Kings are. They're in no man's land. Let's move up to level 3. If you're Keon Ellis, what are you thinking right now? You're in a contract year. You've shown everyone how competitive you are. You've shown everyone that you will defend on every single possession, that your offense is coming around. And quite frankly, last year when Rhino did the postgame shows with me and we had Jerry Reynolds on, we were continually talking about how the Kings were better with Keon Ellis on the floor than without Keon Ellis on the floor. So you sign Russell Westbrook, okay, who is going to expect to play 25 minutes a game or so, and you just signed Dennis Schroeder to $15 million a year. And if you want to look at Schroeder and Westbrook, if you want to put them side by side, they both played in 75 games last year. They averaged the same amount of points. Westbrook had more assists, right? He had more rebounds per game. He shot a higher percentage from 2, a little bit lower from 3, and then there's a big disparity at the line. But, I mean, if that's the case, if you're just going to look strictly at numbers, why would you go sign Dennis Schroeder? Why not just go out and get Westbrook and say, you're our point guard? I mean, if you really want to get down to it, why did you go out and get Dennis Schroeder? I mean, it makes no sense to me. Where's Malik Monk? How many minutes is he going to play? What are you thinking now if you're Malik Monk? And didn't I hear this summer from the Kings general manager and from the head coach, Doug Christie, that they both feel that Nick Clifford has the ability to play point in the NBA and they wanted to see that happen? Well, how's that going to occur now? Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, and yeah, I don't think so. Then you have a young point guard who missed, combo guard, who missed all of training camp last year, who did not play until January because of a shoulder injury, who I think, and Jerry has said this and continues to say this all the time, don't give up on young bigs and young point guards and young guards too soon. Example A, just for recent memory, Davion Mitchell. Look at the deal he just signed with Miami. Now, I'm not saying that Carter's going to be an all-star, and I'm not, but you know what? I know this. The Sacramento Kings aren't going anywhere this year. They're not good enough. Their pieces don't fit. It doesn't make any sense. Right? What do you want as a Kings fan? You know what you want? You want a future. You want some hope. You want a team that is going to ascend, not descend. That's what you want. Right? That's what this fan base wants. They're tired of losing. They're tired of, it's not even mediocrity in most years. It's below that. So let's go up another floor. What about the fans? Well, they see Russell Westbrook. They see the former MVP. They see the number of all-star appearances. And the name can kind of deceive you because it is Russell Westbrook. You look at his resume and you go, wow. But then you look at a guy who's going to be 37 in a couple of weeks, who's going to be beginning his 18th season. He's going to expect to be on the floor. And how's that going to work if you're Doug Christie? Again, this makes no sense to me at all. How many guards do you want on your roster? Now, I understand you can always make a trade, and maybe Scott Perry's on the phones right now, and tomorrow or the next day or next week, he'll announce that the Kings have made a deal that involves a guard or two, right? That's always possible. But let's say that Russell Westbrook plays better than I am expecting, and let's say that I'm wrong, and Russell Westbrook helps out the Kings this year. Okay, then what? Right? You've retarded the development of Keon Ellis, who has gotten better in each year. You have Ellis, who is in a contract year, and the best way for him to take care of himself is by having another good season and excelling on the floor and barring injury. How's that going to happen now? So if I'm Keon Ellis, I'm looking at this move and I'm seeing, wow, boy, what does this mean for me? I'm not going to be on the floor as much. I'm entering my year where I got to make it happen. Costing him money. Malik Monk, who's been in the trade rumor mill all summer. What's he thinking? What's Dennis Schroeder thinking? He's got his money, but Dennis Schroeder is the starting point guard, right? You don't think Dennis Schroeder's expecting to play 30 minutes a game? Again, there's only 5 guys you can put on a floor at once. You have one basketball. You have a ball-dominant guy in Westbrook who can't put the ball in the ocean from downtown and is a bad free throw shooter. How's that going to work when you're setting your defense when you have a guy that shoots 66% from the line? You're going to be able to set your defense on clunks from the free throw line? I don't think so. I mean, there are just so many things here that don't make sense. And you're going to say, well, gee, he's a really fierce competitor. That's where we're at now in the NBA. I've got to praise the guy because he's a fierce competitor. Really? There are a lot of players on the Kings that I would consider top-notch competitors that actually play the guard position. I've just named a couple of them. Again, I go back to this makes no sense to me. 916-779-0929. Give me a call. Hit me up on the text line. 916-779-0929. Kings in action tonight against the Clippers. And then they'll wrap it up on Friday. We'll find out who will be starting tonight at the powered forward position. The Westbrook signing will not be official until tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens in regards to Friday. I don't know how Doug Christie is going to manage this. I don't think this is good for Doug. I think it puts Doug in a very difficult position. If I'm Doug Christie, I don't want Russell Westbrook on my team. All right? I don't want Westbrook on my team. I don't want Westbrook, who Denver didn't want. I don't want Westbrook, who the other 29 teams didn't want. Houston didn't want him. Nobody wanted him. And yet here we are with the season starting in 7 days, and all of a sudden, the Sacramento Kings sign Russell Westbrook. Why don't you sign him a month ago? Why don't you give him a full camp with this team? If you really liked him that much, if you were really going to sign him, why did you wait until today? Why? And again, what's the message? What are you trying to accomplish? What's the goal this year? What's your goal? I mean, I've heard the general manager, Scott Perry, list his mantra in the 6 things, I believe it's 6 things that they are basically doing the foundation on, that these are the 6 qualities they're looking for in every player. And that's fine and dandy. And I've been very open about this. I think Scott, like any other general manager, deserves 3 years to put his stamp on the team. And if Scott Perry feels that this is the best way to do it, I'm going to say, go ahead, go for it. Right? His future depends on the moves he makes. So I'm okay with it from Scott's perspective. Is this a Vivek Ranadive move? I mean, how much influence did he have on this? Because again, this makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't add up to me that a team is projected to be, at best, a play-in team. And can that change? Yeah, I didn't think the Kings were going to win 48 games 3 years ago. So, I mean, things can change when you throw the ball out and start the season. But now you've lost your best defensive player for the foreseeable future in Keegan Murray. You have a brutal schedule upcoming in November, brutal. And I'm supposed to think that the Kings are going to surprise people and be a lot better than the forecasters. I wouldn't put my money on that. 916-779-0929. Now, if I'm talking about a 10-story building right now, I don't even know if I can get to the 5th floor because I don't think there's, I don't know what else I would talk about. You have, I don't know what the identity of this team is now. I really don't. Really. I don't understand. I don't understand what the future is. I don't understand where you're going. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's not part of the future. Zach LaVine's not part of the future, right? Russell Westbrook's not part of the future. I mean, when we really talk about the core of this team, what are we talking about? Right? We're talking about 3 or 4 players, correct? And yes, you can add on with the draft, but I mean, let's say Russell Westbrook helps you win 2 or 3 more games, just for a number, okay? And let's say you feel the Kings were going to win 38 games this year or 39. And let's say they go 42-40. And let's say they get in as the 10th seed or the 9th seed. What does that do for your draft order? What does that do for a draft, by the way, which is projected to be very good coming up? What's the best chance for the Kings to get better? Well, you got to do good in the draft, and I think Scott hit 2 out of the park last June. So far, so good with Nate Clifford and Max Reynaud, even though they haven't stepped onto the floor in a real NBA game. But, I mean, if you look at these guys play, you would say, okay, they look like they have a future in the NBA. Isn't your best chance of really elevating is to get a top pick in the draft, to get that real chip, the blue chipper, right? The get lucky. Isn't that the best way to go about it? And then I get people saying, well, it's good for the business and people are going to go buy tickets to go Russell Westbrook. No. See, in Sacramento, people want to see a team that they can look at and go, okay, we're on the right track. We're getting to where I want them to get as a fan. I see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. Do you really see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel right now? Seriously, as Mitch Richmond said when he was here in the early 90s, when he was asked if he saw light at the end of the tunnel, Mitch's answer was, I don't even see the tunnel. Well, I don't know if I would go that far. I see the tunnel. I do see some light at the end of the tunnel, but it got a little bit darker with this move. I don't understand this in any way, shape, or form. It makes no sense to me. And if I'm Doug Christie, I'm not happy about this move. But I'm not going to speak for Doug. He'll address the media tomorrow when this move becomes official. If I'm Doug, I don't like this. This handcuffs me. This makes it more difficult for me to accomplish what I want. And let me ask you this. What have we been hearing from Doug? Well, we want to play a lot of 94 feet after made baskets, after made free throws. Well, the less minutes you have for Keon Ellis and the less minutes you have for Devin Carter, and I get that Carter's probably not in the plans anyway, but I'm just using his name. Those are the only 2 guards on your roster that are capable of doing what you want as a head coach. That's it. That's it. How are they going to get on the floor? How's Ellis going to get on the floor? I don't like this move. It doesn't make sense. And if you're talking about what is the goal of this year, I have no freaking idea anymore. I don't know what the goal is. I don't like it. I'm on record here on the 15th of October saying I don't like it. And I could see this thing unraveling in a hurry. There's one basketball. You now bring in another ball-dominant guy to go with this team, and I don't understand it. Plain and simple, I don't understand it. Let's hear from you. All right, we got a lot of people that want to talk. Let's lead off with Sean. Sean, you're on with Grant Napear.
Yo, my uncle from another mother. Shout out Rhino behind the boards. Grant, man, thank you for being the voice of the people, the true fans. I know Scott Perry had his work cut out with him with this roster and some of the contracts on this team, but it feels like a slap in the face for the real fans if this is just a ploy to get people to come fill the seats. Russell Westbrook's resume is amazing, but at this point in his career, at best, he's a complimentary piece on a team, striving for a championship. And even those teams don't want him anymore. So why pick him up at this point when we got all these young guys? This team has more guards than the Queen of England. I really was hoping for more wing depth, a shot blocking center, an athletic center, something that complements the bonus. But at this point, we added another non-shooting guard on a team that's already struggling to hit the basket from the ocean. It's really disappointing to real fans, Grant. And I appreciate you going on air and discussing this and pointing out that it makes zero sense for this team.
Sean, thank you for leading me off. Good call. Have a good afternoon. Appreciate you. Let's get to Dallas, Texas. And we get to Abraham. Abraham, thanks for calling the show. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Hi, Grant. I was just tuning in earlier for Rhino's show, and personally, I feel like this year, if it's one thing that the Kings can do differently, is rely less on our veterans and kind of initiate our young guns to actually start putting in more minutes. Because I don't really think that the move of bringing Russell Westbrook to Sacramento is more of like, oh, let's give him minutes. It's more of you've been in the league for 18 seasons. We have a team full of guards that some probably I feel don't even haven't really developed to their full potential yet. So I think I'm kind of hopeful and optimistic that this year we really utilize our bench all the way down to its end because, I feel like we have the talent as far as the young guns, but I think we need to rely less on our veterans this year and kind of have them push or lift up the young guns.
Well, I got to tell you right now, Russell Westbrook did not come to Sacramento because he wants to sit on the bench and help out the young guys. That's not what Westbrook is about. He wants to compete and he wants to be on the floor. And if he's not on the floor, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, but mind you, I mean, he could want something, but I think at a certain point, they also want to be very clear. Like your role here is to mentor, not necessarily to be like our star player.
No, he's not going to start. He knows that. He knows he's coming off the bench. He knows that, but he's not. But he wants to play. Hey, Abraham, thank you for the call. I greatly appreciate it from Dallas. If you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Andre, go ahead. Andre.
Hello, Grant.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so it's just frustrating seeing the Russell Westbrook move because, we set a logjam at the point guard position. And, you had Devin Carter and, Nick Clifford and all these guys. It's where are they going to get their minutes from?
Again, it makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. It does. I don't understand why you want another ball-dominant player, particularly at the point guard, who can't shoot.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. It does not make any sense to me.
Yeah, the only way I see Westbrook actually fitting is by splitting minutes with Devin Carter at the backup point guard because, the shooting guard is already full with, Devin Carter with Nick Clifford and, Keon Ellis,
Malik Monk. Keon Ellis.
That's already full.
Yeah. Well, Devin Carter's not going to get on the floor. Devin Carter is not getting on the floor. There's no room for him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, the only way I would see, Devin Carter getting minutes is moving Nick Clifford to the backup small forward. But, it doesn't work.
Good luck with that. Andre, appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Let's move along to Galt, and we say hello to Mike. Mike, you're on Fox Sports Sacramento. Go ahead.
Grant, I'd just like to talk about Russell Westbrook. Everybody's talking bad about him. He hasn't stepped on the court yet, and I get why. I totally get that. Maybe there's a move down the line that we don't know because we have so many guards. This has been, in the works with the Kings. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've had so many guards, and we really need, a power forward or a center. So I'm with all the other fans. It doesn't make sense, but But the curiosity is, I just want to see how he does when he gets on the court. He does have a bulldog mentality. He's in your face. A lot of Kings fans, I didn't like him personally. I just didn't like him because he would always do well against the Kings. That's all I got.
Okay, well, thank you. Hey, first of all, I like Russell Westbrook. Don't make it sound like I'm not a fan of Russell Westbrook. I've loved calling his games. I've always admired how he plays. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, his credentials speak for themselves. Okay, but, this is not the Russell Westbrook that you're going to see from a couple of years ago. Again, he's going to be 37 in a couple of weeks. Yeah, he plays all out, but so does Keon Ellis. I mean, you're going to take away minutes from Keon Ellis? You're getting Russell Westbrook, who, again, is a ball-dominant player. Again, I ask you, what are we doing here? What's going on with the Kings? What are they doing? Like, what's their plan? This doesn't make sense to me. 916-779-0929. Wow. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to take our break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get to more phone calls. Said on the text line, what's up, Grant? Longtime listener. I really don't like the Kings picking up Westbrook, but maybe, just maybe, this is exactly what the Kings need to pick up their effort and start playing like Westbrook. He always does the tenacious defense and always gives 110% every time he's on the floor. There's no question about his competitiveness. That's the one thing you can't question about Russell Westbrook. But ask yourself, here we are with the season opening up in a week, and there's no other team in the NBA that wanted him. No one. Only the Kings. Ask yourself that question. Why would that be? Why? Why? Your phone calls at 916-779-0929. You can use that to text the show as well. That's coming up right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online, look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
All right, Russell Westbrook coming to the Kings. Hit me up, 916-779-0929. This on the text line. Grant, look, it's a desperation move because they can't find any big targets. Let's get a ball-dominant point guard past his prime. Plus, Carter and Clifford need time to develop. And two of your best players, Monk and Levine, they're going to suck minutes from the team. A franchise that's been this bad, this long, needs a star in the draft. It's their only way to hope. I don't disagree with that. It is their only way. Rhino, I know you did your Kings Court show over on YouTube and our YouTube channel. If you don't like that, we'll be on after the Kings and the Clippers tonight. What was the reaction you had earlier this afternoon?
Split down the middle. Very split. Some fans very high on the move. Others seeing it the way that the both of us see it.
Yeah, so you see it the same way I do? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if I go back to your analogy and we're going up the building, let's start at the parking garage. When we looked at the Kings' needs before Keegan Murray got hurt, we both agreed they needed a power forward that could play a 4-5 role, correct?
Yeah, they needed length for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. And the second most important position was a backup point guard. We agreed there as well.
Correct.
To me, Russell Westbrook, excuse me, everybody. He's not a point guard, Grant. Now, he can be a point guard if he chooses to be a point guard, but I don't think that's the version of Russ that's coming in, especially with 29 other teams that didn't want him. I think you're going to get the aggressive version, which means you now have another combo guard and still, in my opinion, a hole at point guard.
All right, let's get to Louis in Roseville. Louis, you're on with Grant Napear on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you guys, Russell Westbrook did play the point guard last year with Denver, and he averaged.
He can play point guard. I mean, he's a combo guard, but yeah, of course he can play the point. Of course.
He came in off the bench, gave them 6-7 assists a game. I got to say, it's a low risk, high upside signing. It's not like we paid the guy a bunch of money, and if he can come in and give us some energy, just like what everyone's saying, if he can come in and be that point guard that we know that he's capable of doing, I don't think it's all that bad.
How come Denver didn't want him back?
Who knows? Denver sat on their heels the whole offseason, so probably not the best team to try to take. Why didn't Denver want him? Because they didn't make much moves at all.
Well, then you obviously don't know anything about the NBA if you don't think that Denver made most moves at all. They arguably had the best offseason of any team in the NBA. So I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. If you think that Denver didn't make any moves, you might want to spend a moment and look at all the moves they made in the offseason. Most people have them right there competing with Oklahoma City again in the West. So I disagree with you. They made significant moves in the offseason and made their team better.
Who was their best signing?
Excuse me?
Who was their best signing, off-season signing?
Go spend a minute and just Google the Denver Nuggets, and you'll learn everything you need to know. I'm not going to go over it again. We've talked about this extensively. All right. Again, if you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. Most people have Denver winning over 55 games this year. 916-779-0929. Would I feel different on the text line if the Kings signed Ben Simmons? No, I would feel worse if they signed Ben Simmons. That would be double. Doesn't make sense. So I just, again, I'm going to keep on asking this question. What is the goal of this franchise right now? What do they want to be? What are they? What is their identity? Like they just have pieces and none of it fits together. And you have this talk from your general manager and your head coach talking about how they would like Nick Clifford to play some point, and they both think that he can. Where's Nick Clifford's minutes going to come from now on this team? What is his true position? Where's he going to play, and how many minutes is he going to play? Because as Jerry said, and I keep bringing up Jerry Reynolds because I respect his basketball acumen, his knowledge, probably more than anyone in this community, both employed and not employed, needs to be on the floor at least 20 minutes a game. And I don't disagree with that. So if you only have 48 minutes a game, you think Dennis Schroeder came to Sacramento to play 20 minutes a game? Huh? And again, what are you thinking if you're Keon Ellis and Malik Monk right now?
Like, it's not like the Kings are in the 45-win plateau, right? They're not in that group where one player that could win you maybe 2 or 3 extra games gets you into a top 4 seed or a 5th seed or a 6th seed, which guarantees you a playoff. That's not the Kings, especially now without Keegan Murray for the foreseeable future. Now, we go over this time and time again. Is it possible that Scott Perry is going to make some other moves here in the near future? Yes, of course. I would expect it. But for the time being, how's Doug Christie going to coach this team? We know what the starting 4 is. We don't know the starting 5 yet. That may not be determined until next week on the eve of the Kings and the Suns. I don't know. I'm sure Doug has some ideas, but I don't know if Doug could definitively answer that question before the game tonight as they get ready to take on the Clippers, who is going to be their starting power forward. Another message on the text line. I honestly think this was a move to get fans into the seats, getting a big name. This move makes, in capital letters, no sense in a basketball sense. This is Andre. Thanks for the conversation, Grant. I just want to say Kings do everything backwards, exercising Carter's option, then signing Westbrook. I don't think they're related, but I don't really think that I can find the sense in making this move. And for those of you that say he plays hard, well, that's what I expect. That's what I expect from professional athletes. I expect them to play hard. You know, I'm a big hockey fan. I love hockey. I try to watch games every night. I've been watching hockey since the 60s. Do you know that in the sport of hockey, that's never, ever talked about? You never hear it coming out of the locker room. You never hear it talked about in the media. You never hear it from the fans. You might say the team I root for stinks, but that's never an issue because hockey players just play every shift like it's going to be their last one. Like, that's not a discussion. In the NFL, right? What happens if you, quote unquote, don't play hard? You get killed, correct? You get killed. And now in the NBA, like, why has that become a thing? Well, he really plays hard. I mean, seriously? Like, is that where we're at right now as an organization? That we have to praise players because they compete and they play hard? Now, I understand there are some that go to the extreme, and you look at in the past of the Warriors of the Kings, the Scott Pollards of the world, the Michael Animal Smiths, and I'm just using a couple as an example. I get that that's something that the fans love. I'm talking about diving into the stands for the ball and stuff. I get all of that. But are we really now to the point in 2025 with this team where we have to talk about how hard Russell Westbrook plays, and that's a good thing? Like, how about looking at the overall big picture in the way the NBA game is played today, that he doesn't shoot the three and is a terrible free throw shooter, right? So I know he rebounds the ball. He's done it his whole life. I know he can distribute the ball. He's done it his whole career. I know that, he's got attributes, but I don't understand why the Kings were the only team out of 30 that wanted Russell Westbrook. He had a deal on the table to go to China, and the reason why he was thinking of that is he had no other options. Zero. No other options. Why? Again, I go to the Houston Rockets. They lost their point guard for the year, Fred VanVleet. Why? So let's talk about this at 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. And then I talk about, he knows Sabonis well. He knows Schroeder well. He grew up with DeMar DeRozan in Southern California. So what? I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, what difference does that make? These players all know each other. Many of them have played with, on various teams and various stops, whether it's playing for the Olympics or non-Olympic years or pickup games in the summer when they're all in LA, or that doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't mean anything to me. You know what matters to me? The direction of a franchise. That's what matters to me. What's the identity of the Sacramento Kings? Where are they going? What do they want to become? You know, again, I've heard the 6 principles that Scott Perry's laid out for the organization. But the one principle that should be number 1 is we want to win. That should be your first principle. I don't see how this makes the Kings a winning team or sets them up any better in the future for winning. I think it retards the growth of the entire operation. That's what I think it does. I think it retards the growth of all of the players that I talked about in my opening segment, the younger players in particular. It doesn't make sense to me. We'll come back. We'll talk more about it at 916-779-0929. Don't forget, in the second hour of the show, we're going to talk about Cam Scatterbo, Rio Linda's very own, 2 years at Sac State, a guy that has taken over New York as a real cult hero. Cam Scatterbo, as in the eyes of the longtime voice of the Giants, Bob Papa. That's coming up in hour number 2. We'll come right back with more of your phone calls, more of your text messages. Again, get on deck now at 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports Traffic, taking our first look at the roadways. Working an accident on I-5 southbound right at Sutterville Road. Left lane blocked off, not really causing that much of a slowdown as of yet, so give yourself a couple extra minutes just to cruise through there. Cap City Freeway starting to get a little bit busier on the, especially the eastbound side, anyway from Arden Way down to US 50. You got some heavy delays, and from US 50 up through Exposition Boulevard, you two are dealing with some heavy delays. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabroods for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabroods, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868.
be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868. 916-779-0929. I'll get to Ryan in a moment. It was very interesting when these type of moves happen. My phone blows up. I received a text message from one former coach, and then I actually got a call from another former NBA head coach, and they were like, what the hell are the Kings doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I had another former player from just retired 2 seasons ago reach out to me, and he made up his own press release that said the Sacramento Kings signed Russell Westbrook in an attempt to get anyone of note to play for this dumpster fire of a franchise. Russell's hospice care staff has been retained as well. Oh my gosh. Rhino, it's going to be a very interesting period of time. The one thing, whether you like this move or don't like this move, it gets people once again talking about the Kings.
Yes, it does. Either in a good way or a bad way. Grant, is it good press either way?
Well, it's not going to be good if the Kings get off to a bad start. Okay?
Yeah.
This is going to be a disaster for the franchise if they get off to a bad start. It just is. Okay? And if they get off to a good start, like anything else in the world of sports, things will calm down and people will go, well, gee, you know, what's working out? Grant, what were you talking about? And I'll say, yeah, you know, I was wrong. I don't have a problem, but I just don't see it. I don't see how this fits. I don't see how it makes sense. And if I'm looking at the big picture, which I always try to look at the big picture,
Right.
I don't look at today. I'm looking at the big picture. The big picture to me is just nothing but dark clouds right now, with the exception of 2 or 3 players that I would like to hang my hat on, and 2 players in particular that I think can be good that are both rookies. Other than that, I don't have a lot of hope.
This would have been a really good signing 2 years ago.
Yes, it would have.
It
Yep.
would have made sense. You see
Yes.
the short-term future, but that's the same question I asked myself.
Correct.
How does this help us next year? To the last caller's point about Russ playing in Denver, played 75 games. You've already laid out the stats. The big thing there was, one, the people around him. The team was much better than
Yes.
the Kings. And the second thing is Russ accepted a role. Do you think that's going to be something here in Sacramento with the makeup of the roster that he'll be willing to accept?
He played an average of 28 minutes a game last year. Okay? Think about that for a minute. He played 28 minutes a game, to be exact, 27.9, but I'm rounding it off for sake of conversation. You all of a sudden think that Russell Westbrook's going to come to an inferior team and all of a sudden not want to play 20 to 25 minutes minimum every single night? And so I'll ask you this question. And again, I think numbers can sometimes cloud your perspective on things. But we talk about the 2 guards that the Kings have now in Schroeder and Westbrook, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is 32. The other is going to be 37 in a few weeks. They both played the exact number of games last year, 75. They had the exact same number of points. Westbrook had more rebounds per game by more than 2. He had more assists by a little more than a half assist a game, 6.1 to 5.4. He shot better by almost 5% from the floor. He shot less than Schroeder from 2 or from 3 by 2%. And obviously there's a big disparity at the free throw line. So if I'm just looking at the numbers, forget about anything else, right? Like, why would you go out and sign Dennis Schroeder and give him $15 million a year? Why wouldn't you just go out and give that job to Russell Westbrook a month ago and go spend that money somewhere else if you're looking at what the Kings did to Schroeder? And again, I've been very pro Dennis Schroeder. I've said to you, and I've said to my audience, I like him. I think it makes the Kings better. It makes sense to me, even though I feel that they overpaid for him. But Dennis Schroeder didn't come to Sacramento to have a role that's any different than what he was told, and that's to be a starting point guard and run the team and be the floor general, so to speak. You think Dennis Schroeder's going to want to come to Sacramento and play 25 minutes a night? I mean, come on now.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And when there were reports that the Kings were interested in both of them, it was simultaneously. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe you're doing a Zoom meeting here or there, but it does in some ways contradict Scott Perry's vision for this year. If you read some of the reports that some of the older guys on the team had some say in this or were pushing for him, one of which being Schroeder, that's like win now type of mindset for the older guys. And again, does not necessarily help the future. And I don't think it does anything to bring the locker room closer, Grant.
I don't think so. 916-779-0929. Give me a call. We'll put you on at 916-779-0929. You can use that to text the show as well. We're getting a lot of text messages coming in. I read them when I can. Appreciate the phone calls as well. As the Kings do have a game tonight, they're taking on the Clippers, and we'll see exactly who will be starting at the power forward position. But again, the call right now, 916-779-0929. Give a call, and we will put you right on. Speaking of the Kings and the Clippers, we will be on right after the game on our YouTube channel. If you don't like that, also simulcast on X. Ryan will join me. We'll have the post-game show when the Kings and the Clippers end tonight. So we'll see who's going to be starting at the power forward. Again, the Russell Westbrook announcement and the official signing won't be until tomorrow. Also, the report that the Kings and Daquan Jeffries had agreed to a deal, and then they would waive him so that he could go play for the Stockton Kings in the G League. All right, let's get to some more phone calls. Ryan in Sacramento. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Grant, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, Ryan. Thanks for calling the show.
You bet. So I'm thinking about what you just said about good start versus bad start and what that means for the totality of the season. And I'm kind of running through scenarios in my head. And in my head, the worst possible thing that could happen would be that they get off to a good start, because that will tell Vivek that this roster that he thinks is the way a good roster should be built is built for success. And he will trade future assets. He will trade young players, blow up the future for what the Kings look like in order to go all in on a season like this. What do you think about that?
Well, I think Scott Perry is going to do everything in his power to resist stupidity from the owner. There has not been a general manager yet that has worked for Vivek that has been able to do that. Let's hope Scott can be the one. But I don't see how this team could get off to a good start. I just don't. And by a good start, I'm not talking about the first 2 games. I'm talking about, if you go in 10-game increments, their schedule, I just don't see it. I don't see how they could possibly get off to a good start. If they do, I think it's great for the community. I think it's very good for the fan base because you play to win. But I'm also looking at the future. I don't think it can be sustained with this roster. I just don't see how it could be sustained.
I agree. And I think it's much more likely that the team gets off to a bad start and they stumble out of the gate. And it potentially could get really ugly there in that first month and a half with the current roster combined with Keegan being injured. My concern being they could use the Keegan injury as an excuse for the fact that they didn't do well to start off the season, as opposed to what I hope will happen is things go so sideways that they can't help but start trading off assets, trade Levine, trade DeRozan, build future assets, bring in young players, re-sign Keon, re-sign Keegan, play the young guys, and build something moving forward.
Appreciate the phone call, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Grant.
More to come, of course, throughout the rest of the show at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. You can use that number to text the show as well. In the middle of next hour, we'll switch gears for a little bit and talk about Cam Scatteraboo, Sacramento's very own, as he is just really just an incredible story. And we'll get the perspective from Bob Papa. That's coming up at about 4:25 or so. Grant's Rant coming up at 5. We have so much to talk about because the Kings also have a preseason game tonight. And speaking of Dennis Schroeder, he has not looked good in the first 2 games. And I'm just wondering, what would happen if Schroeder doesn't play well in the first 5 games? What do you think would happen? Now, I don't forecast that. I think he's too solid of a player, but he didn't start for Detroit. He was their third guard and excelled in that role as a third guard when he left Golden State to go to Detroit. He was very successful as a third guard, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was able to get the deal that he got from Sacramento because of how well he played with the Pistons, including in the playoffs against the Knicks. But I'm just curious, what do you think would happen if he gets off to a poor start? 916-779-0929, the phone lines to call the show. And you can also hit me up on the text line because this is topic A today, and we're going to be talking about it for the entire show. Again, it's not official yet. At practice today, the players really could not talk about it because it's not official. So I think tomorrow there will be, once it's made official, then we'll get, and I know what the talk's going to be. Oh, he's a really good competitor. Oh, I've known him. Oh, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, he's this and he's that. I'm not expecting any of the players on the Kings to go, oh, I don't understand why they made this move and blah, blah, blah. Of course it's going to be positive. All right? Of course it's going to be positive. That's all the talk's going to be. And again, if I'm Doug Christie, I don't see how this makes my job any easier or gives me a chance for more long-term success. Like, I don't see that. But I don't want to speak for Doug. He'll address the media both before the game tonight and after the game. I don't know how much Doug will be able to say until it is official. So we may not get any real substance from Doug until tomorrow. And Doug by nature is very, very positive, and I'm sure that he'll do his very best to be extremely positive as he should be as the head coach. But as I said at the beginning of the show, this makes 0 sense to me. 0 sense. I do not understand it in any way, shape, or form. Want to hear from you when we come back. 916-779-0929. 1 hour in the books, 2 to go on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic. We are working an accident 99 highway southbound right at 12th Avenue off to the right shoulder. You got stop and go traffic pretty much from US 50 interchange down to that accident scene and maybe even a little bit beyond that about 47th Avenue is where that breaks apart. Eastbound, westbound US 50 anywhere from 65th Street out to I-5. You two are dealing with some heavy rush hour delays. Give yourself about 30 extra minutes. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hey, come on in,
Hi,
guys.
Jack, in our subdivision?
Yeah, I saw your Suburban out front, so I thought I'd see how your kitchen and bath remodel was going.
We're delayed.
Oh, watch your step.
Waiting on subs.
Contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go with Kitchen Mart?
No, why?
Nothing. That's just why we went with Kitchen Mart. They don't use subs.
No subs? No subs?
Yeah, with the exception of something very specialized, Kitchen Mart does everything in-house so they can finish on time and on budget. So your cabinets, countertops, plumbing, drywall, electric, and your contractor pulled permits, right? That's the law.
Was he supposed to?
You mean supposed to?
What'd I say?
Sub.
Sub?
Sub.
Remodeling your kitchen or bath? 20,000 ecstatic customers agree. No subs means Kitchen Mart's in-house designers, craftsmen, and installers do it right and finish on time and on budget. Kitchen Mart, with 2 showrooms in Sacramento and Rockland. Call 362-7080 or go to kitchenmart.net for a free home appointment.
Kitchen and bath, no one does it better than Kitchen Mart.
The most trusted name in kitchen and bath remodeling since 1976.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour 2, Bob Papa in about 25 minutes. So if you want to get in on the program, now is the time to call. We'll take your phone calls at 916-779-0929. You can use that number to text the show as well. On the text line from the 209, Grant, stick a fork in the season, and it's only October 15th. Are you ready for Christmas? Because I am. No, I'm not ready for Christmas. This from the 916, Monty McNair took blame for the number of guards he had and not adding any length, and I fear Vivek is putting Perry in handcuffs. I don't know what Vivek is or is not doing as it pertains to Scott Perry, but I do know this, and I know this because I've worked with the organization for long enough to know this. It's very difficult being a general manager for the Sacramento Kings. That's what I do know. That's not like a guess. That's not like based on 98% or 99%. That's based on 100% knowledge. Okay. Now, I would also say it's probably not a unique situation in professional sports. There are other general managers that have to deal with meddling owners. There are certain general managers that don't have to deal with their owners at all, other than a talk here and there to keep me updated on what's going on. There are owners that allow their general managers and coaches to do their job, but there are others that are very involved and over-involved to a point that's detrimental to the franchise. And in my opinion, that's what's going on in Sacramento and has been going on in Sacramento. And it's such a shame because I've talked about this. This is the 40th anniversary of the Sacramento Kings. It's unbelievable.
And speaking of that, the first ever draft pick for the Sacramento Kings is going to come on the show next week, Joe Klein. And I'm going to reminisce with Joe a little bit about what it was like moving here being drafted and being the first draft pick and being part of the early years of the Sacramento Kings. Joe Klein will be coming on the show next week. We'll talk with him either Tuesday or Wednesday. But think about that, 40 years. And out of the 40 years, seriously, this is unbelievable. You know, the first year the Kings moved to Sacramento, they were in the playoffs, and they lost every game to Houston. But only 1 year, okay? You went 8 years with Rick Adelman. Every year you made the playoffs. 1 year with Saint, right? And then the 1 year 3 years ago. Think about that. 40 years. 40 years. A playoff in 85-86. A playoff in 95-96. 8 straight years with Rick Adelman. And 1 year with Mike Brown. That's brutal. And we talk about the fans of this community, and we talk about how loyal they've been. And the fact that on most nights the arena is full and it's loud, and they've watched so much bad basketball over the years. And they keep on getting knocked down. They get deflated. They think, gee, where are we heading? 3 years ago, it was like, wow, we're back. We've got a stud star franchise player in De'Aaron Fox. And wow, 48 wins, and everybody was super excited. And then, boom, it's over. Right? And even though the Kings won 46 games the following year, which, tell me right now, would you sign up for 46 wins this year? Yeah, you would. Not like they stunk the following year, but the West got a lot better because the Kings took advantage of all the injuries in the Western Conference the year before en route to the 48 wins because they were relatively healthy. And then the next season, nothing. Play in, gone, no playoffs. Last season, disappointing, 40 wins, 42 losses, an embarrassing loss to the Dallas Mavericks at home. Embarrassing. Got blown off the court from a Mavericks team that had their best players out. Embarrassing. And you got smoked. And now here we are, first-year head coach, full-time, a new general manager, 2 draft picks that I think have a chance to be pretty good, a team that finally has some vision. And when I say finally, I'm talking about because of the 2 kids and with Keon Ellis, and I'm a big Keegan Murray fan. And now you bring in a 37-year-old, soon to be 37, guard who nobody else in the league wanted, who plays a lot of minutes because he wants to and has demanded that. And I really mean demanded that. And you have 1 basketball and you have 5 players on the court at once. And so, like Jerry Reynolds has always said this, you can't keep everyone happy, so don't try. Take your 8 to 10 players and make sure they're happy. Well, you tell me right now, with the addition of Russell Westbrook, and Rhino, we talk about this all the time, your starting 5 with Keegan Murray, we know. We don't know who that extra individual is going to be right now, but let's, for the sake of conversation, include Keegan Murray, because it's not like he's going to be out the whole year.
Sure.
All right, so now you have Westbrook, right? He's going to play, correct? Yep. You have your 2 rookies. They're going to play. That's already 8, all right? Then what? Then you're going to have a big come off the bench, correct?
Yep.
That would be 9, whomever that name is going to be. And that leaves you with Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, Carter. I mean, I just don't understand the makeup of this roster right now. It just does not make sense to me.
Well, Grant, does it knock some minutes from Nick Clifford right off the bat?
It has to. How could it not?
Okay. So maybe.
And his development at point guard.
Correct. Spot on.
I mean, how could it not? Like, you think that Nick Clifford's going to be on the floor playing point guard ahead of Dennis Schroeder or now Russell Westbrook? Come on. Of course not.
It was interesting because Doug in camp the first week said that he likes having Neek as a ball handler, but he would like to have a primary ball handler on the floor with him. So assume maybe that's Russ. Then we go back to the original situation that you said you've got one spot for three guys. Really good players. Two guys.
Okay, what do you think Nick Clifford's best position is? What do you think is his, again, we talk about this being a positionless league, but let's just say we're going to try to classify and put everyone in there what they really are. What really is Nick Clifford?
He's a combo guard. You would have to lean two right now.
Okay, so you have Zach LaVine, who I think is going to play 35 minutes a night or more. Okay, I really believe that. I think that Doug's going to play him. I'm going based on last year. I'm basing this on preseason. I'm basing on what he does. Out of 48 minutes, I think he's going to play 35 minutes at the two guard.
Okay.
That's what I think. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. That leaves 13 minutes available at that position. That's it. How's that going to work?
Well, unless there is a move out there that can benefit the Kings in the front line that moves a Malik Monk or a Keon Ellis, which I don't think you're probably trading Keon on his own and getting a ton of value back just because of the numbers. You're going to have somebody that's unhappy. And you're talking about in Malik Monk, a guy that should have been the sixth man of the year 2 years ago.
And so that sets up in January when the calendar hits January 1st and we get closer to the day, the Jonathan Kuminga rumors are all going to surface again.
No doubt. No doubt
Right?
about it. Because,
So
Grant,
we're 3 months away from that happening.
That was the piece, right? Most of us said you cannot sign Russ before you trade for Kuminga, assuming those moves were going to happen.
Yep. I don't know. I really don't. All I know is I don't like this on the surface. I don't think it makes sense with this roster and the future of this franchise and where we're at, because I would think that the majority, I'm not speaking for all Kings fans, I'm just going based on our shows that we do on YouTube, and we do many shows during the course of the year.
Yep.
And now that I'm back on live radio, looking at all of the feedback I'm getting here and on social media, I think most fans are okay with, okay, let's stop the nonsense and let's really build for the future, right? Let's break it down and let's do this the right way. I don't see how adding Russell Westbrook does that. And I don't think your owner sees it the way I see it. I think the owner thinks this team is much better than it is. I think this owner has false expectations. I don't think he can look at a roster and evaluate it accurately and fairly, which puts immense strain on the front office and the coaching staff because he looks at it completely differently than they do. That's what I think happens.
I think Doug Christie was already having some heartburn with the guard position, trying to figure out that balance. But you're absolutely right. This owner is doing the opposite of what you do to build a team. He's looking at names individually. Wow, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine. But we all know you have to have the buffer pieces, the glue pieces, the puzzle pieces in between there. And here's another name, Grant. We heard that Keegan Murray, Doug wants 10 shots, 10 threes a game. Does this take shots away from Keegan?
Well, when he comes back, I would only imagine that it's going to take shots away from everybody. It's going to take playing time away from the players that – see, I'm going to look at it this way. If I'm looking at this from a fan's perspective, not a member of the media, the one player that right now on this roster I don't want to see lose minutes is Keon Ellis.
Yes.
And right now, I don't see how that's not going to happen.
And him losing minutes, no offense to Russ and how hard he hustles, him losing minutes is your defense getting worse. And your defense is already below the standard.
Yes. And then there's no chance for Devin Carter to get on the floor. And what is the one thing that he does better than anybody else on the team? He's on the ball defender, right?
Yep.
You want to pick up 94 feet? Who does it better than Devin Carter? He's
Nobody.
not going to ever get on the floor. How's he going to get on the floor?
It's going to be tough. Again, unless Doug goes to, with that second unit, unless he's rotating fresh guards, so you can always have somebody fresh, kind of hockey lineups, 2-minute shifts on the ball. you're not going to be able to play everybody, as the great Jerry Reynolds says.
So I'm getting this text message. You ready for this? And I'd have to fact check this, and I'll let you do this once we get the information out. He put all the coaches on the text line, and he summarizes, or she, I don't know if it's a he, it could be a she, says Sacramento has had, in 40 years, 33 head coaches and 9 general managers. How about that?
Wow.
How about that? 33 head coaches and 9 general managers. And you want to know why they have had a history of futility? That's why, right there. You're right there.
Good
Louis
job
just
by
texted
you.
me. I want to acknowledge this. Louis, who I said, spend a little time and look at what Denver's done. He said, Grant, you're absolutely right that Denver had the best offseason. I was wrong, Louis. Louis, it's okay, buddy. I get wrong. I get information wrong. Sometimes I say things that are inaccurate, but I wanted you to just acknowledge, not acknowledge. I wanted you to spend a little time and research it before just making a bold statement. And I'm glad you looked, and I'm glad that you were able to send me that message. Much respect to you, Louis. Thank you very much.
Hey, Louis, you know what? I don't get stuff wrong. Tonight on the Clippers, 2nd round pick, Yannick Kanen Niederhauser. That's how you say the name. Grant threw that to me on a post-game show. No, it was the draft show. Righto, I'll let you handle that. First time seeing it. Yannick Kanen Niederhauser. Look for him. Center tonight.
Unbelievable. 530 chiming in. Grant, Vivek strikes again. I can't believe this damn owner. I am so done with this. Danny in Chula Vista. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. Listen, I'm not going to say that Vivek is the reason why the Kings signed Russell Westbrook without knowledge of that. I'm not going to put what could be erroneous information out. That's not what I do. If I can fact check it and I know, then I'll say it. But I don't know that, so I'm not going to go down that road. But you are more than welcome to put that on the text lines. 916-779-0929. Go ahead, buddy.
This is a fact. Vivek posted, this was part of his Instagram post yesterday.
Hello, everyone. Back from the summer, back to work.
That was yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Didn't training camp start 10 days ago?
It was just posted yesterday.
I see. Okay. Hello, everyone. Summer's over. Back to work. On the night before that the Russell Westbrook announcement is made. Interesting. I have a question. Is he ever going to have a press conference and talk to the media? Seriously. And the answer, I think, is no, especially with the news that came out of Stockton as it related to his daughter. So, I don't see
okay,
it.
you just brought up a great point. Will the Kings have a press conference to introduce Russell Westbrook?
They have to. Yes, they have to. They will definitely have a press conference to announce Russell Westbrook. I don't think there's any doubt about it. It may not be like the formal one that we're accustomed to, but it will be some stature of a press conference. You have to. You can't bring in Russell Westbrook, or, in my opinion, and not have a press conference. Why, do you think they won't?
Well, no, I'm just wondering, would the other 29 teams in the NBA have a press conference for bringing him in at this point in the season?
That's a fabulous question. That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. Interesting. Wow. Yeah. What's your guess? I'll say they will.
I'm going to say
they will
as well.
I say that the Kings will have him sitting, or with the media. It will be I don't want to say a huge deal, a big deal, but yeah, I could see that being the case.
I'm with you. I think
We'll see.
I think you're closer to doing that than not.
All right. Again, if you want to get in on the program, 916-779-0929. We're going to be talking some football coming up as well. Good news for the Niners. They got some bodies back on the field today, although limited, mainly George Kittle and Brock Purdy as they play the Atlanta Falcons. Somebody on the line said, I see Russell Westbrook playing the same role as Monk. Do you think we are close to trading for Kuminga. Well, you can't trade for him for a couple of months because of the rules of the NBA. But let's see what happens. Let's see how he does with Golden State over the next 3 months and what they're thinking. Time will tell, as they say. Time will tell. Wow, we got a lot to talk about here. We have a lot going on. Russell Westbrook is going to be with the Sacramento Kings. And what does that mean for rotations? That's going to be, when Doug does talk to the media tomorrow after this is official, those are going to be the questions that are going to be coming right out at him. And I don't know how he's going to answer that with all of the guards. I don't know how you can play all of them.
I think it's simple.
I really don't.
I think it's really simple. He's going to say, we're going to get Russ in. We've got this much time before the first regular season game to figure that out, because I don't think Russ will be playing against the Lakers in the finale. Do you?
I don't think you need Russell Westbrook to play. I mean, it's not like you don't know what he can do. So I'm going to go back to this for the folks that are just joining us, because I know we have a lot of people that are not able to listen to the entire show. And by the way, if you missed the first hour, it is replayed again at 6 o'clock. And you can also download the Fox Sports KSAC app, so you are always good to go. I'm going to go back to what I said. It's 1 week before the start of the regular season. 1 week. And this guy, and I say this guy because I'm trying to paint the picture here, with his MVP and all of his all-star appearances and the fact that he played 27 minutes a game last year. And I talked about the numbers, right? I talked about 75 games played, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 45% shooting. Those are pretty good numbers when you look at them. 1 week before the season, nobody, not one team in the NBA wanted Russell Westbrook. Not Houston, who lost their starting point guard a couple of weeks ago in Fred VanVleet. Nobody. He had an offer from China. He was contemplating going overseas and playing there. Now here we are 1 week before the start of the regular season, and the only team that wants Westbrook, the Sacramento Kings. And you must ask yourself 2 questions. Why did the Kings want Westbrook? And why did Westbrook want to come play in Sacramento? The second part of that question, to me, is easier than the first part, because he probably, let's be honest, he doesn't want to go play basketball in China. And it's his only opportunity at age 38, which he'll be in a few weeks. It was the only opportunity to continue to play in the NBA. And by the way, for all of these people that go, well, he's a California kid, he's not in LA, he's in Sacramento. And it's not like these players, have time where they can get on a private jet and go home for the night. So the fact that he's from LA and he went to UCLA, it doesn't matter. That doesn't factor into it. The fact that, he's in California now. There's no difference when you're in the middle of the NBA season. There's no difference between, and I'm not talking about play on the court, I'm talking about geographically, logistically. There's no difference being in Denver or Sacramento if you're from LA. It's the same damn thing. All right. So let's stop with the nonsense. Oh, gee, he's closer to home. That's nonsense. Okay. Now if you play in New York, then I would say, yeah, you're right. If you're playing the Eastern Conference, I would say, yeah, you're right. But I mean, stop it already. All right. It's incredible. All right. Again, we get this message. Yo, Grant and Rhino, how can I hear the OP interview? You can go back and listen to it on the podcast. We have posted it on my podcast platform. I can't remember the day. You'd have to go back and find out the day that he was on. And then it's also on YouTube. You can go back and search the history of the Fox Sports Sacramento YouTube page, and you can listen to the interview that I had with Olden Polynice. I think that was last week. Was it not, Rhino, that I had OP on? I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
Here we are on Wednesday. I think I had him on last week.
It was last week.
Yeah, so just go look at it. It's on your whatever, whether it's Apple, Spotify, however you listen to the podcast. All right, I posted on my podcast platform. It's on my X. All right, follow me on X at Grant Napear Show. I post the show on there every evening as soon as I get off. Or you can go to the YouTube page, the Fox Sports Sacramento, where we are streaming live each and every day. It's right there for you. Hey, Grant, remember, Houston can't sign anybody. They're at the cap. They would have had to make trades to stay out of the aprons. I'm aware of that. Thank you for that.
and they can't make any trades until January because they signed a lot of their players too. Dennis. Yeah, Dennis, I'm aware of that, but you could get creative. You just hit it right on the head, okay? They could have moved a player to bring in a Westbrook. Like, they could have figured it out if they really wanted him. They could have figured it out. And you're right about the cap. You're right about the aprons, but it could still, you can get creative, all right? You can do it. I know they couldn't have just signed him. I know they couldn't have just added him. I'm very well aware of that. Absolutely. But thank you for that, Dennis. Appreciate that.
Napes,
all right, NFL news.
Napes, really quick. Let me chime in. OP interview.
Cam Scatterbo. We're going to talk about him in a moment. Go ahead, Rhino.
OP interview last Tuesday.
All right, so there you look it up last Tuesday, and you can listen to it. He was on in the second hour of the show, I believe. So
4 p.m.
Check it out. Bob Papa is the longtime voice of the New York Giants, and he'll be joining me next to talk about Cam Scatterbo and more right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic officials still trying to wrap up southbound 99 right at 12th Avenue. Everything is off to the right shoulder. You still got stop-and-go traffic from the 50 interchange down to that scene and even a little bit beyond it. Give yourself that extra time. Disabled vehicle, Cap City Freeway westbound right at Marconi Avenue, off to the shoulder. Heavy rush hour delays in and around that area, so give yourself extra time through there. I-5 northbound, southbound, also starting to see those rush hour delays pop into full gear. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. And now that the calendar has hit October, you're probably not rushing to grab your sweaters and jackets just yet. But before long, it will get chilly. Will your heater work to your satisfaction? Well, right now at DAS Mechanical, they have a $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup. So take advantage of this early by going to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org. Whether it's for your home or business, with amazing financing options available, including 0% interest for 18 months, this family-owned and operated business since 2018 will take care of your heating and air needs. Take advantage of this $69 pre-winter maintenance checkup now. Go online, dasmechanical.org. You can schedule online, look at their 5-star reviews. That's dasmechanical.org.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Talking a lot about the Kings and Russell Westbrook, but right now we're going to talk some NFL football. And a guy that has taken New York by storm is right from here, Rio Linda, Sacramento State before Arizona State. And he has turned into a real kind of a cult hero in New York with the New York Giants, along with their rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart. But Cam Scatterbo has been amazing. Bob Papa is the longtime voice of the New York Football Giants. He's nice enough to spend a couple minutes with us. Bob, it's been a minute. How are you?
Grant, how you doing, man? Great to hear you back on the radio, my man.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. And thank you for making time for me.
The folks in Sacramento are going crazy talking about Cam Scatterbo. what he's done for this franchise, and again, we'll talk about Dart in a couple of minutes, but I'm trying to remember the last time a player such as Scatterbo came into the Giants organization and had such an impact with the fans the way he has with this New York fan base.
Yeah, I mean, he's energized a franchise that, let's face it, has been treated and played like a doormat with the exception of 2022. Now, look, when Saquon Barkley was drafted, he was the best player on the field for the Giants the minute he walked through the door. But Scatterbo has brought a little grit, brought a little edge. People were kind of curious as to, as a fourth-round pick, how good would he be in the National Football League? And, his style, running over people and headbutting people. I mean, it really, between he and Jackson Dart, it's amazing what the influx of young talent can do to a fan base.
Is his style of play sustainable? Is there concern within the Giants organization of the number of what we would just say brutal hits that he takes during the course of a game?
Well, he's been doing it his whole life. So, I mean, that's the way he plays. And it's not like he's suddenly doing this. He did this in college. I'm a little worried about one thing. When you watch college football games on Saturdays, right? I mean, they got the targeting rule and all that other stuff. But you also watch a lot of games where quarterbacks are getting blasted, receivers are getting blasted, and somehow like these guys just drag themselves up off the ground and stay in the game. Mm-hmm. The NFL is completely different. They got three guys that have no relationship with either of the teams independently watching from up in the press box. And you see guys, you see the buzzer go off and suddenly you see the referee escorting a player off the field. Now, Scatterbo, he's like, it's no big deal. I'm fine. Doesn't matter. If they feel upstairs that there was a dangerous collision or the head hit the ground or there was head-to-head contact, you may be fine, but they're still pulling you off the field and you could miss some important plays. I think he's going to have to learn a little bit on how to manage this. You can't take away what he is. And I think I'm speaking more about Jackson Dart even more so than Scatterbo. I don't know how sustainable it is for Cam, but it certainly has breathed life into this football team.
The crowd on Thursday night against the Eagles was such a welcome sight for New York football fans, but it's just one game. With that said, though, what about the bond? Two young players coming into the Giants at the same time and early on in the season, particularly on such a big stage against the Super Bowl champs in the Philadelphia Eagles. Scatterbo and Dart, are they aligned at the hip? Because they sure look like it, both on the field and off the field, and just everything that they have brought to this franchise, which was in really dire shape.
Yeah, I mean, they're best buds off the field, right? I mean, Dart and Tommy DeVito when he was still here, and Scatterbo, they're young guys, like having a good time, experiencing the New York, New Jersey lifestyle a little bit, right? Yeah, I mean, these guys feed off each other because Dart, for better or for worse, is bringing a Scatterbo-like attitude to the quarterback position. And this is something that, the coaches, I'm friendly with the people that are on the coaching staff at Ole Miss. They were worried about, Jackson Dart taking too many hits even collegiately. And, that's, we saw him have to leave the game the other night. He's got to be smarter with how he's playing. But as far as the energy and the bond, I really loved what they both said after the game when they were asked about, the horrific losing that's happened against the Philadelphia Eagles going all the way back to the playoff game in 2008. Prior to Thursday night, the Giants had lost 27 of 34 games to the Eagles and really hadn't beaten them in anything of any significance, over that period of time. And both those players said, we kind of picked up on that negative vibe during the week about, here come the Eagles, the Giants get smoked by the Eagles, whatever. And they're like, we weren't here for any of that. Like, we weren't on any of those teams. me and Scat and some of these other younger players or new free agents, we're not part of that history. Like, for us, that means nothing. And I thought that was a very refreshing attitude that they brought into it, as opposed to the, ooh, same old, here we go again. Let's get bludgeoned by, the Philadelphia Eagles from down I-95. They went into that game not fearing the Eagles. And I think that is something that, is music to Giants fans' ears.
And the other aspect of this is the head coach and Brian Dable and Dart's success that may be tied into his future. So there's a lot going on with this team, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, this is year 4 for Brian Dable, right? And he's got 20 wins, 35 losses, 1 tie. He does have the playoff road victory, which is, you have to acknowledge that and say that's also part of his resume. But yeah, this is a huge year for him. And, everyone says, ooh, he put Dart in there. Look, it wasn't getting done with Russell Wilson, but playing a rookie quarterback, it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to keep your job moving forward. Because if you look at the last 4 quarterbacks that were taken number 1 overall, the head coach never made it to year 2. Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer, he didn't make it to year number 2. You take a look at Bryce Young. His head coach, Frank Reich, didn't make it to year 2. Caleb Williams, first-round draft pick. He didn't make it. Number 1 overall pick. I'm talking about number 1 overall. He didn't make it to year 2. And Cam Ward, this year's number 1 overall pick. His head coach didn't even make it to the midway point of year number 2. So it doesn't guarantee that anybody's going to keep their jobs. It's how Jackson Dart and this team plays over the rest of this season that's going to determine, do we stay the course or do we have to make a change?
Talking with Bob Papa, the voice of the Giants, just want to point out that it's being reported, Sham Sharani of ESPN and the agent of Priority Sports, Mark Bartelstein, that they've reached an extension with the Kings' Keegan Murray on a 5-year, $140 million rookie contract extension. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later in the show. When you look at this division.
Wow, I thought you were going to break news to me that the Giants have traded for a wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, I wish they would still trade for offensive linemen, because I think that's the real issue is, although I got to tell you, I thought their offensive line did a heck of a job against Philadelphia in both run blocking and pass protection. Fortunately, you've got a quarterback that can move a little bit. But if they're going to be acquiring players, could you please get some offensive linemen, please? Could you do that for me?
Grant, this is the first time I'm going to disagree with you in a while.
Okay.
Obviously Andrew Thomas is back. They slow played Andrew Thomas and didn't rush him back because he was coming off this severe foot injury. And he's playing at the all-pro level that we all know he can play at, which has settled everything down. But they drafted a kid, Marcus Bowe, who has been outstanding in preseason and training camp, who in the Dallas game when James Hudson, who was the understudy for Thomas while he was hurt, lost his mind and committed 4 penalties on 1 drive, they put Bowe in, and it was not even a problem. So I think the offensive line, the depth that they have now, just look, they lost their center in the middle of the game, and they put a guy in, and normally you get a bad snap, you're going to get a false start. You didn't even know that Schmitz was out. Sloatman did a really good job. So I think their O-line is better. I think with Malik Neighbors injured, this team desperately needs some help at the wide receiver position, because Darius Slayton's got a hamstring injury, but, you never want to point, it's a team game. You can't point the finger at one guy. But with the Giants going up and down the field against the Saints, if he catches the deep ball over the middle and then catches the flea flicker and doesn't fumble near the end of the first half, the Giants were getting ready to run New Orleans out of the building.
That's
and
right.
Slayton has proven to be a good player. They signed him to a 3-year, $36 million deal this offseason, but he's never had 1,000 yards. He can go games without doing anything. I think the Giants have to get somebody in there who can create a little bit more of a consistent impact with Neighbors being out for the year.
Before I let you go, most people know that you're very involved with professional golf. You're the lead host for the Golf Channel and NBC on the Champions Tour. You love golf. You work with golf, but it's the seniors, it's the champions. But you live in the New York metropolitan area. I had Steve Sands on, your colleague, before the Ryder Cup began, but now it's been a couple of weeks, and you're in that area. And again, because you're in the golf world, and I'm not, do you look at that as a black eye for the Ryder Cup and the conduct of the fans that were at Bethpage for that weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because I think the PGA of America, I think everybody has to tone down the rhetoric, right? Because leading up to the Ryder Cup, what was one of the big promotional sort of things is big, bad Bethpage, loud New York fans, boisterous, unlike any other golf tournament. It's rough when they've had U.S. Opens there. And then they get mad when they act that way. Well, maybe don't play it up before it happens. And yeah, I think there was a horrific black eye for the New York metropolitan area fans and for golf fans in the area and the way people comported themselves. Because look, we know Ryder Cups can be loud. And listen, they're not saints across the other side of the pond. I'm friends with a lot of the current players and former players that played in past Ryder Cups, and really close with a lot of the caddies. And I've heard some things that have been said toward the Americans when it's a road game that are pretty darn bad. It's not as often and constant, and it got highly publicized again because they hyped this up to be like a heavyweight fight. It's still just golf. And, it's like the one time golf fans can act unruly, it seems, is like it's acceptable at Ryder Cups and it's acceptable at the WM, evidently, in Phoenix, in Scottsdale. But, and they've run into problems. I worked it 2 years ago where it got like so out of hand, the WM, where now they're talking about, now we got to ramp it back. Well, you can't celebrate the 17th hole and the zaniness and the alcohol and the irreverence, and then when it crosses the line, say, oh, no, you crossed the line. Well, then don't promote it that way. Don't promote it so that you sell, right?
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
Right. I was working it a couple of years ago, right? Somebody makes an ace, because I worked the Thursday, Friday, and early coverage on Saturday and Sunday. Someone makes an ace, out come all the beer cans, out come all the beers, which, heck, I mean, what are they, like $17 a pop? That's an expensive throw.
Right.
But then it got to the point where guys were just hitting it on the green and close to the hole, but it wasn't going in. And that like cued everybody, just start throwing stuff again. Well, you gotta cut that off, man. You can't, because then when it gets out of hand, you can't then complain about it.
Bob, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming on. I have a good call Sunday with the Giants and the Broncos, and hopefully we can run into each other again in the near future. You be well. Thanks, my man.
Anytime, my friend.
Take care. That's Bob Papa, the voice of the New York Giants. Before we get to break, I want to tell you about DAS Mechanical, HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems, whether we're talking about homeowners or businesses for commercial maintenance. They are serving the Sacramento and Placer counties. And right now, through the end of November, they have a $69 winter maintenance checkup for your unit. All right? And don't be Mr. or Mrs. Uh-oh when the weather does dip where you've got to turn the heater on for the first time and you've got a problem. Take advantage of this great opportunity now by going online to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can book online, check out all of their 5-star reviews and their best of the best awards. Family owned and operated since 2018. And if you get to a point where you need a new HVAC system, remember there are rebates up to $6,000, including a $2,000 federal tax credit. But you got to take advantage of that because it's due to expire at the end of this year. That's dasmechanical.org. Schedule your appointment online. And again, check out all of their reviews and their awards. That's dasmechanical.org. Boy, what a day for the Kings. Russell Westbrook is coming to the capital city, and Keegan Murray will now be able to pick up the tab at dinners wherever he goes. We'll talk about that when we come back on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All voters will receive a ballot in the mail and have several options to return their ballot conveniently, including a postage-paid envelope. You can also vote in person at any vote center and have access to your ballot in an accessible format, as well as receive assistance in multiple languages. Be sure to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 1-800-762-8019.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker-owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, bfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868. My thanks to Bob Papa. 916-779-0929. Again, $28 million, the average salary for Keegan Murray. We'll talk about that and more on Russell Westbrook. 916-779-0929. Let's get to Frank in Elk Grove. Frank, welcome to the show. It's your turn. Frank, you there? Frank is not there. So we'll say goodbye to Frank. Call back if you want to get on the air. Rhino, what do you think of Keegan Murray's news? $140 million, 5-year rookie extension.
I love it. It is an awesome day, I think, for Kings fans. Whether you like what happened with Russ or this, you're finding something good. He deserves every penny of it. Shams put a great stat out about being one of 3 players with the 3-pointers that he's had. Grant, awesome stuff. How about you?
Yeah, I love Keegan Murray. I'm a fan of his. I've talked about this with you. He's part of the future. He is part of the answer. He's not part of the problem.
100%. So eerie. I was asked this yesterday on the Kings court. What would be a good, fair annual salary? And I said 25 to 27 and a half. And so he ends up at 28. That is okay. That's a win for this season. We don't have to worry about that. I'm so glad that Keegan wanted to be here. And Grant, you know this from what you know from behind the scenes. The Kings have asked him to do certain things over each offseason, and he's done them all. He's so coachable. I think the future is so bright for him.
I'm with you. This is really good news for the Sacramento Kings. And for you Kings fans, if you want to talk about this, or Russell Westbrook coming, 916-779-0929. If you missed my opening comments, you can go back and listen to them at 6 o'clock when we replay the first hour. But the Russell Westbrook signing for right now with this franchise does not make sense to me, and I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. And if I'm Keon Ellis, I can't be very happy. If I'm Malik Monk, I can't be very happy. I think this is going to really impact their playing time. I'm not happy if I'm Dennis Schroeder. I think it's going to impact his playing time. And the one thing I know about veterans, and Schroeder is a veteran, and Malik Monk is a veteran, they're happy when they're playing, and they're not happy when they're not playing. And that's just the reality, and that's the way you want it. You don't want players being happy when they're not into the game. But if I'm Keon Ellis, and I'm looking at the money that Keegan Murray just got, and I'm thinking, okay, this is my year to take care of myself. Not that I'm thinking that Keon Ellis is going to get that kind of money. That's not the point I'm making. But it is a money year for him where he will get paid at the end of this year based on numbers, analytics, based on how he does this year. And quite frankly, I just think his minutes, Rhino, got reduced substantially, which I think is going to impact the bottom line for him.
I'm with you. He only played 8 minutes in Portland in the second preseason game before the Westbrook signing. Keon's one of those guys, Grant, and I'll ask you this. I think a lot of Kings fans value what he brings to the court, but sometimes I wonder when you read the national media, he was ranked as one of the top 10 free agent guards this last summer, restricted free agents. Does the national media and other teams value Keon more than the Kings organization actually does? Especially considering today?
That is a fabulous, fabulous question. I know if you talk to Doug Christie, he values Keon, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't see how he couldn't because, when Doug looks in the mirror, what does he see in Keon Ellis? He sees almost a version of himself, correct?
Yeah, there's this running joke.
Yeah.
Have you watched the film? Yeah.
Yeah. So, everything that Doug stands for and the way he played and what he tells the media of what he wants, that's Keon Ellis, is it not?
Straight out. There's very few guys in the NBA that have the ability to get beat and recover. And I'm not even talking about a role player, on somebody like Steph Curry, that's considered one of the faces of the NBA. Keon, he's just so coachable, Grant. And here's the other thing. He is the picture perfect image of what the NBA is trying to move towards with the CBA and development. The Kings identified him. He was undrafted. They were able to train him up, and look at what he's become. To not value that's really hard to figure.
Rhino, let's say, for sake of conversation, that Schroeder, Westbrook, Levine, and Monk stay relatively healthy. All right? How's Keon Ellis get onto the floor? How many minutes is he going to play a night? I don't see how this is going to work.
Well, let's say I can't talk, not that I'm paid for a living, as you say. Westbrook, if he doesn't play as well, then his minutes might go down. But I think what you're going to see is Doug Christie playing the hot hand between Keon Ellis and Malik Monk. If Malik doesn't have it going offensively and it's a close, low-scoring game, I think you lean towards Keon. Conversely, if Monk's going and it's an offensive game, Keon's probably not getting those minutes. How about you?
Maybe. I don't think that's a good way to go personally. I believe in a rotation that is consistent, and I think that's the best for all concerned. So if based on what you just told me, what happens if Dennis Schroeder's not playing well?
Then are we saying Russ and Dennis aren't playing well?
Together? No, just Dennis Schroeder for right now. Let's say Schroeder's not playing well.
Then Russ is going to get more minutes.
Okay, what does that do to your team defensively?
That's a great question.
Because I want to see what Russ can do on that side of the floor.
Yeah.
And then here's the other thing: when you don't have Schroeder on the floor, you become a much worse free throw shooting team. All right, from the 80s into the 60s as those individuals. Even though Schroeder's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's better than Russ, not by a lot, but he is. I am not a fan. The way the game is played today, okay? I am not a fan of guards that don't make threes unless they are extraordinary on the defensive end. I'm just not. The game is so different now. The game is about making threes. It is a make or miss league. And almost every night, when you look at the box scores, the first number you need to look at, 3-point shooting, for and against. And very often that determines who wins the game. This Kings team, now without Keegan Murray, and you add Westbrook, they have dropped significantly as a 3-point shooting threat. Significantly.
Yeah, and I am not a fan of guards who don't shoot the three ball well and don't make the next pass. And that's my worry with both Schroeder and Russell Westbrook. I lean towards, with your first question, Schroeder being better on the court because I see him making that second pass more than I do Russell Westbrook, just based off of general history of Russ's game, and getting the ball to a Zach LaVine, who's had a very good preseason, who's been efficient. The more the ball moves, whichever guard can keep that ball moving, that's what I lean towards, because that's what that has been the Kings' principal problem, Grant, on offense.
Don't forget the Kings and the Clippers tonight, and we'll be on right after the game over on our YouTube channel. If you don't like that, join us, and we'll talk a lot about Russ. We'll talk about the Keegan Murray extension. If you're just joining us, an extension reported 5 years, $140 million for Keegan Murray. The Kings getting ready to play their third of 4 preseason games tonight, and then it's the Lakers on Friday. And then a week from tonight, it's in Phoenix against the Suns, and they will be without Jalen Green, one of their starters, who is out with a hamstring injury, so he will not be on the court next Wednesday, and we know that the Kings will be without Keegan Murray. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and I know it's an 82-game season, and I'm well aware of that, but these first 2 games for the Kings against teams that they are projected to be better than, they better beat Phoenix and Utah before they play the Lakers in their third game and then embark on that brutal road trip coming up. They better get off to a 2-0 start, because those teams, just about everybody in the league, has projected at the bottom of the West.
No doubt. And out of those 2 games, the one that I think you cannot lose is Phoenix. Because if you lose Phoenix, you do not want to have the pressure of having to get Utah and then the Lakers before you go out on the break. But, the Kings traditionally, the last couple of years, have come out good in their first game. Let's hope it happens again.
All right, again, if you want to hit me up on the text line, you can at 916-779-0929. I've got Grant's Rant coming up around the corner, and then we'll talk more about the big news of the day, Russell Westbrook coming to Sacramento, and Keegan Murray agreeing to a rookie contract extension, 5 years, $140 million. So congratulations to Keegan, as he is got to be very happy with that. I'm sure he wasn't very happy earlier this week when he was under the knife and got his thumb repaired. But this is a really good news. This is really good news for the Kings, and it's really good news for Murray. So we'll talk about that. The Kings and the Clippers tonight. We will wait until the lineups are formally made public, because we don't want to speculate on what the starting lineup is going to be. There are also a couple of other players that are questionable for the game tonight. One, Malik Monk, due to illness, DeMar with a sore groin. So we'll wait and see who is in and who is out for the Sacramento Kings tonight, again, at home against the LA Clippers. And again, I want to see who is going to be starting at the power forward position. I think most of you do, and then we'll analyze that. And I don't know who's playing for the Clippers either. We do know that Bradley Beal's out. Bogdan Bogdanovic had an extensive workout this afternoon as he's getting closer to being back, but he will not play tonight as well for the Clippers. So we'll see who's going to be playing and who's not. And again, we will talk about this coming up after the game. You can join us over on our YouTube channel if you don't like that. We'll be doing every post-game show this year during the regular season, so keep that in mind. More of your text messages, more of your phone calls, and, of course, Grant's Rant coming up as well. Big news for the Kings today with Russell Westbrook and Keegan Murray. We can also talk football if you want, or baseball with the baseball championship series going on. It's all there for you as we continue along on this Wednesday edition of the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Sports traffic. Heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire Sacramento area, especially Cap City Freeway, eastbound, westbound, in between top of the town freeway and the US 50 interchange. Give yourself about 30, 35 extra minutes through there. US 50 anywhere from Howe Avenue out to the I-5 interchange. You two are dealing with some heavy rush hour delays, along with I-5 northbound and southbound in between top of the town freeway and Sutterville Road. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Homeowners, the 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. Let me say that again. The 30% federal tax credit for solar and green energy ends December 31st. If you've been procrastinating about your home's solar addition, stop. Call locally owned Gabroods Services and schedule your solar appointment today. Gabroods is the recognized Northern California specialist for everything electrical, panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, and especially residential solar installation. Gabroods experts do it all, and they do it right the first time. The 30% federal tax credit ends soon. Stop procrastinating. Call Gabroods and schedule your appointment for solar now. Family owned and operated for 30 years. Visit Gabroods.com. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. At Bennett's, it's all about bold flavors and fresh handcrafted food served with genuine hospitality. Craving prime hand-cut steaks? We've got them. Fresh salmon, halibut, or giant Mexican prawns? We've got those too. At Bennett's, we serve premium seafood and steaks in a relaxed setting. Whether you're joining us for a special night out or a casual bite, we'll treat you like family every time. Find us in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. View our menus and make a reservation at bennettsrestaurants.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. 6 weeks into the NFL season, and one thing is clear, we don't have a great team. The parity this year is striking. Every time a team looks ready to take the mantle as the NFL's alpha, they stumble. The Bills, fresh off a shocking loss to the Falcons, and the Lions knocked off by the Chiefs Sunday night. The Ravens, once a trendy Super Bowl pick, are 1-5. Even the Philadelphia Eagles look like they've lost their identity. Even the 5-1 Buccaneers are doing it with duct tape. No Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, all banged up. This is what makes the NFL so great. None of the elite franchises feel safe. No powerhouse feels inevitable. Every Sunday feels like chaos. And right now, there's no clear-cut favorite. The NFL is wide open this season, and all that's left to see is which team finally seizes control of the season, defined by balance and unpredictability, which is what the NFL wants. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
High-quality meat, unbeatable freshness, and a family-style commitment to care. That's the Heartland difference. Heartland Steak Co. is your go-to source for premium Midwest meats, delivered straight to your door. Whether you're hosting a backyard barbecue, planning weeknight dinners, or giving someone the gift of Midwest flavor, Heartland Steak Co. is perfect for any occasion. Hand-cut and hand-picked from the Heartland, our premium selection includes USDA Prime and Choice beef, all-natural pork, chicken, and more. Save time and money with easy online ordering and expertly assembled specials, grill master packages, freezer-filled bundles, holiday gift boxes, all flash frozen for peak freshness. Go to heartlandsteakco.com, get 2 ribeyes with a purchase of $150 or more. Use code FOOTBALL25. Heartland Steak Co., your one-stop shop for straight-to-your-door Midwest meat. Taste the Heartland difference at heartlandsteakco.com. Again, use code FOOTBALL25 to get 2 ribeyes with a purchase of $150 or more.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
Yeah, I love Grant's Rant, and we'll serve it up to me right now, Ryan. What are my choices?
Grant, I only have one option for you. Keegan Murray is one of 3 players to record 500 three-pointers, 150 blocks, and 150 steals over the last 3 seasons. He joins Anthony Edwards and Derek White. Grant, every pregame show, we get the messages. Get rid of Keegan. So to all you Keegan Murray haters, Grant, serve him up. Let him know he does a lot more on the other side of the basketball.
Well, I'll answer your question this way and go with my rant. The reality is that every team in the NBA would love to have a player like Keegan Murray. Does it mean he would absolutely start on every team in the NBA? Well, maybe not. I mean, there are players in the NBA that play his position that are better than him. But what he does every night is he's the equivalent of a Gold Glove fielder. Even if he's struggling at the plate, that fielder will go out to third or short or second, and he will turn the game around with his glove. All right? Keegan brings his lunch pail every single day to work. He is one of the best interior defenders. He is one of the best big defenders, meaning frontline defenders in the NBA. He can guard multiple positions. The players on the team love him. The coaches love him. He's tremendous with the fans. He's everything that you would want with a franchise. Now, is he a franchise player? Well, maybe he's not a franchise player. Okay, maybe he's not that superstar that we would like him to be. I personally think he can obtain an all-star someday. I think he has that ceiling that high because he has the makeup for it. He has all of the intangibles. I can't believe the number of times during the course of a week that I see Kings fans wanting to part ways with Murray. I don't understand it. Like, what are you looking at? Because, well, he doesn't score as much as you want. Well, there's one basketball to go around. He plays with Zach LaVine, he plays with DeMar DeRozan, and he plays with Domantas Sabonis. The guy doesn't complain. He doesn't gripe. It's not a problem in the locker room. He's a team guy first, and he plays his butt off. I am thrilled today that Murray signed a 5-year extension, $140 million deal. Good job by the Sacramento Kings. Good job by Murray to recognize that this is a really good fit for him. And shame on you if you're one of his critics out there. I don't know what you're looking at. And that's my rant for today. You want to add anything to that, Mr. Ryan in Sacktown?
No, Grant. I just want to make sure that Sean Maller on the YouTube chat heard that. He comments that then grossly overpay Keegan, a guy who's hurt and overrated.
Hurt. He's hurt right now for maybe a quarter of the season. It could be less. It could be more. We're not talking about like the guy's going to be out the whole year. He's going to be back sooner than you know. Like, what's the problem? Guys get hurt. Guys, like, you know, it's not like a career injury. It's not like it's going to affect him for the rest of his career. He's going to be fine. I don't understand the reasoning there. I just don't get that.
Yep, I'm with you. And the part that you said about look at who he is playing with, Keegan Murray is a chameleon. He will fit in anywhere. If guys are getting shots, it doesn't affect his game on the defensive end. And quite frankly, he has had some of the more memorable moments at the Golden One Center playing defense, not offense, defense.
And what's the big problem with the Kings? And I think it's going to be on full display beginning next week, is that this team is not a good defensive team. I don't even think they're an average defensive team. And without Murray, they are now a bad defensive team. And that's the one aspect, Rhino, of this team and the start of the season that concerns me the most is on the defensive end. I know they can score. I believe that they will score. But how are they going to stop anybody without Keegan Murray?
It's going to be difficult. He takes the best player on the other team night in and night out. I'll tell you what, Keegan did the team a favor. Not letting these games go by and seeing the defense without him, that number might have gone up. It might have gone up an extra couple of
I have
million.
a question. How many players his size that play his position are asked to guard Steph Curry?
Very few. Very few, Grant, especially with the size and strength that Keegan has. You almost don't see that ever. You've been around him. His arms are like our thighs. And he's just strong as heck. And you know what? He has gotten a lot quicker, too, off of his feet. So I think the best is yet to come for this young man.
Thank you. The best is yet to come. He's improved every year. He will continue to improve. He's not really yet in his prime, if you want to look at it. He's just entering his prime. So to me, this is a win-win. Great move by the Kings. I applaud them for getting this deal done. And I applaud Murray. Yep. Good job. Give me that round of applause. I want to hear it. Great job. Good job by both parties. Good job by
the representatives from Murray, the longtime agent, Mark Bartelstein, and Priority Sports, a really, really good bit of news a week before this season. The other news today has to do with Russell Westbrook, and I'm not on board with this. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't, get me excited. It, to me, stunts the growth or stunts the direction of this team. It just does. It stunts the direction, the growth of this team. And I could see a lot of problems surfacing now with this team if they get off to a bad start, because I really believe that you will have a lot of veterans telling their agents, get me out of here. I really believe that if this thing gets off to a bad start, I think it's going to be a mess. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we're not talking about a bad start. But if this team, and they have a brutal November, goes into a big slide early, it is going to be ugly. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. This from the 916. Why did they sign Schroeder if they wanted Russ? Russ is better. Statistically, you could make that claim, but I don't think he's a better player than Dennis Schroeder right now. And if he is a better player than Dennis Schroeder, then start him, and you shouldn't have signed Schroeder. But I don't believe that. If you told me, Grant, you can take Schroeder or Westbrook, I'm not talking about their careers now. I'm talking about right now. I'm taking Schroeder, and I'm not really thinking that much about it. So I think you have to be careful. I think a lot of people, when you think of Westbrook, you think about everything, and you think about how great he was and the MVP and the triple-double. But, and again, it's not like he's chopped liver. It's not like he can't play. I don't want to paint that picture of Russ. He can still play. But for this team and the direction they're heading and what the expectations are, it doesn't make sense to me. But I want to hear from you. 916-779-0929. If you're on your way to the game, have a good time tonight, and it will be interesting to see when the starting lineups are handed into the scorers table, who is listed as the 4. So, Ryan, let's just have some fun right now. I'm going to say, all right, that the starting lineup tonight will be Schroeder. I'm going to assume that DeRozan's going to play.
Okay.
Schroeder, Monk, I'm going to assume he's going to play with DeRozan, Sabonis, and Reyno. So that's what I'm thinking. And again, could it be Dario Saric? It could. I don't think it will be McDermott. Could it be Eubanks playing on the front line with Sabonis? I think it could be. The two bigs playing together. I'm not so sure we'll see that scenario. But maybe Max Reyno. Maybe he's going to guy that we'll see what he does along with the starters. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we'll get that question out to you, 916-779-0929. So, Ryan, what do you think? Who's when the lineups are introduced, who's assuming that DeRozan and Monk can play?
Yeah.
They're both questionable. So I'm just going to assume they're going to play. Who's going to be the 4?
It's going to be Sabonis, and Eubanks will be the 5.
Okay. All right. And I think that is a possibility as well. All right, let's get to Dorian. Dorian, you're on with Grant Napear. Go ahead.
What's up, Grant? What's up, Rhino?
Hey, buddy.
I asked this to Rhino. Grant, I didn't get to hear your thoughts the first hour on the signing of Westbrook, but I'm assuming that you're probably a little bit indifferent in the sense of what's going to happen with the minutes with Keon Ellis, with Dennis Schroeder, with Devin Carter. We haven't even really talked about Devin Carter and what his plan or what the Kings' plan is for him. Malik Monk. But if the Kings were planning on signing Russell Westbrook, why did it take them so long for him to get signed? And why did you sign Dennis Schroeder for that amount of contract? Because if you're signing Westbrook, I feel like you overpaid for Dennis Schroeder.
I agree with everything you just said. I was pretty harsh in the first hour, in the first segment, about my comments about Westbrook. Not that I don't think he's a good player or hasn't had a Hall of Fame career. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that on this team and the makeup of this team and the direction of this team, it makes no sense to me. And I said it makes no sense if I'm looking at the development. I think you're preventing the development of Keon Ellis. If I'm Keon Ellis and I'm entering a year that is my year to really show the league that I am worthy of a contract and to make money, it's going to retard his growth. You've told me both from Scott Perry and Doug Christie that you can envision Nick Clifford handling the ball. And learning how to play at the point in the NBA level. Well, that's not going to happen now. I don't see how it could happen.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Devin Carter, and Jerry Reynolds always says this, don't give up on young point guards too soon. And quite frankly, I don't see how he ever steps onto the floor now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Like, Devin Carter isn't a G League player. I think he's an NBA caliber type of player already. He just needs run, right? Like, you gave up Davion Mitchell, right? You needed a point guard. You gave up Fox. You gave up Tyrese Halliburton. And you go out and pay Dennis Schroeder, but now you sign Russell Westbrook. I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. But we'll just have to wait.
Well,
and
you
see how it
didn't
plays
really
out.
give up Halliburton. You traded for an all-star. So it's not like you gave him away. I don't think they got proper value for Fox, but we have to wait until the draft picks materialize. But go ahead.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you gave up Tyrese and you got DeMontis Sabonis, a proven all-star, obviously. But I feel like the biggest need the Kings have needed the last 3 years is a point guard, right? And, you obviously you made that move and you can't go back. I think both teams won that trade. But, nonetheless, I think we're going to have to, as fans, we're just going to have to wait and see how this team plays out. The makeup of the roster is pretty interesting with so many different moving pieces. But I'm happy for Keegan Murray. That's life-changing money for him and his family, so congratulations to him. I did get to listen to a little bit of the interview with the New York Giants broadcaster, and I'm a big fan of Jackson Dart and obviously Cam Scannable. Obviously I'm a little biased because I'm a former student athlete at Sacramento State, and he played there for a year, transferring his sophomore season. But that's really cool what's going on in New York for the Giants, Grant. I'm happy for the team. I know the Giants and the Kings are similar in the sense of they've had some pretty long losing seasons, so that's pretty cool to hear what Cam Scannable has been doing for New York and the Giants.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Well, the big difference is the Giants have 4 Super Bowl trophies. They have 4 championships. So there's a big separation there. But yes, lately there is a parallel between the two franchises. This from the 209. Grant, the Kings are in need of a backup point guard. If Schroeder goes down, they would be in the same situation as last season. Were there any better options on the market? Certainly better than Markelle Fultz. What are your thoughts? Well, probably not that there were better options, because I think if they were, they would have done them. And I told you Markelle Fultz last year. That was, don't get excited about that. And there's a reason why Markelle Fultz was available in the middle of the season. See, I'm going to keep on talking about this. All right? I'm going to keep on talking about this. When Jay Crowder was signed, people went crazy because he started in the first game. I believe it was against Minnesota, and he played really well, and the fans went crazy. And I said, just calm down a little bit, all right? Calm down a little bit. And then when the Kings signed Doug McDermott, the same, I said, calm down a little bit. Then when they signed Markelle Fultz, I said, hey, calm down a little bit, okay? And I'm going to tell you the same thing right now about Russell Westbrook. There is a reason why he was available and is still available a week before the start of the season. Now, yes, we did have a texter talk about the aprons and some of the teams being handcuffed, and that is true. We live in a different era now of NBA salary caps and what they can and cannot do. But there are 30 teams in the NBA. Are you going to tell me that 30 teams, now 29, all couldn't sign Russell Westbrook because of the salary cap? I mean, stop it, right? There is a reason why Russ is available as of today, not any longer, but as of this morning, and now he is going to play for the Sacramento Kings. Ask yourself, why would a player that is this quote-unquote good be available? I mean, aren't teams looking to get better, right? What team wouldn't want a good player? If a good player is walking on the street and is available, and you think as a general manager that player can make you better, you're going to figure out a way to get it done. I just have to always remind you of that. If players are available, there is a reason. Just like I gave you prior examples. And there are players that had different roles. I mean, Doug McDermott wasn't brought here to start. He's great in the locker room. He's great with his teammates. There's nobody on the organization that doesn't speak about him in high regard. I mean, you need players like that. He's a glue guy. He does a lot of things behind the scenes that you're not even privy to. So, you need players like that on your team. But then people go, oh, gee, he's going to start. He's going, no. No, he's not going to start. And no, there are going to be many nights when he doesn't play. And I said that to you last year. Same thing with Markelle Fultz. I told you the same thing about him. Okay, when Markelle Fultz is available in the middle of the season, there's a reason for that. Okay, especially a point guard. What do teams need in the NBA? What do they want? They all want good starting point guards and good backup point guards. Well, if Markelle Fultz was that, why is he available and not playing for anybody in the middle of the season? There is a reason for that. Rhino, do you have some information for us on some quotes from the head coach, Doug Christie?
Yeah, Doug's doing his pregame press conference right now. He was asked about Russell Westbrook and, quote, been a Russell Westbrook fan for a long time. The things that he's been able to do in this league speaks for himself. Speaks for themselves, excuse me.
So what he's been able to do in the league, what does that have to do with this year?
It's a very general response.
Yeah, I understand.
And
that's exactly what I expected from Doug. And I told you this last hour that I expected that from Doug. But I think that people cloud their judgment right now when you talk about Russell Westbrook because they look at what he has done in the league. Well, I don't really care what you have done in the league throughout your career. I care what you're capable of doing now for me and the team that I root for, or if I work for it. That's what I care about. I don't care about you winning the MVP years ago or averaging a triple-double or doing this or doing that. Why is it that the team that just went to the Western Conference Finals where you played 27 minutes a game, how come they don't want you back this year? Why did they make that decision to just let you go and be unsigned? Why did they do that?
And a team that many feel had the best offseason of any team in the NBA this year. It's also a little bit ironic that Doug's not talking about, oh, we can't wait to get him in the rotation. He's a great guy that, usually can pick up 94 feet. It's just a generality. And if you and I had to make a guess, reckless speculation, if Doug wanted Russ on this team, I would say no. What about you?
I would say no, too. 100%. Want to get to this message on the text line. Us Kings fans deserve better. We spend so much time and money into this team. The uncertainty of this franchise and the future is very frustrating for us. We just want a stable organization that knows what they're doing. It's been years since this has happened. I understand. I get it. I understand completely. 100%. But it's done. It's going to happen. And he is going to be wearing a Sacramento Kings uniform. We'll come back. We'll take more of your messages, phone calls at 916-779-0929. Russell Westbrook, a King, and Keegan Murray, a rookie contract extension, 5 years, $140 million. Talking about that and more on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, Capital City Freeway right at East Arden Road. We got an accident slowing things down being reported. You got stop-and-go traffic pretty much from P Street up to that accident scene, so give yourself that extra time. Heavy delays on I-5 northbound, southbound between Top of the Town Freeway and the US 50 interchange, and US 50 also extremely busy anywhere from Howe Avenue out to I-5. With twice-an-hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. The holidays may feel far away, but the best dates are filling fast. At Bennett's, we make every celebration effortless. Host your holiday parties in our elegant private dining rooms, or let us bring the chef-crafted catering right into your home or office. From family dinners to company parties, our team delivers the flavors, service, and holiday magic your guests will remember. Secure your holiday celebration today with Bennett's at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Hey, come on in.
Guys. Hi, Jack. In our subdivision?
Yeah, I saw your Suburban out front, so I thought I'd see how your kitchen and bath remodel was going.
We're delayed.
Oh, watch your step.
Waiting on subs.
Contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go with Kitchen Mart?
No, why?
Nothing. That's just why we went with Kitchen Mart. They don't use subs.
No subs? No subs?
Yeah, with the exception of something very specialized, Kitchen Mart does everything in-house so they can finish on time and on budget. So your cabinets, countertops, plumbing, drywall, electric, and your contractor pulled permits, right? That's the law.
Was he sub Supposed to?
Well,
You mean supposed to?
What'd I say?
Sub.
Sub?
Sub.
Remodeling your kitchen or bath? 20,000 ecstatic customers agree. No subs means Kitchen Mart's in-house designers, craftsmen, and installers do it right and finish on time and on budget. Kitchen Mart, with 2 showrooms in Sacramento and Rockland. Call 362-7080 or go to kitchenmart.net for a free home appointment.
Kitchen and bath. No one does it better than Kitchen Mart.
The most trusted name in kitchen and bath remodeling since 1976.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
All right, word from Golden One is that Malik Monk will not play tonight due to illness. DeMar DeRozan is available with a sore groin, but no Malik Monk. So you will have 2 different starters than from the last game. We'll see who will start at the shooting guard position along with Dennis Schroeder. And then you will have a new frontline player as well as the Kings take on the Clippers. Waiting to hear from the Clippers who is going to be on the floor and who's not. So as soon as, if we do hear, we will pass that on, but that is the news right now. So Keon Ellis start tonight in the backcourt. Rhino, what do you think? Comes in for Zach LaVine as the first guy off the bench, not starting. I mean, LaVine will start, but does he start coming off the bench from the bench? Is he the first guy? Okay.
I think Keon comes off the bench, and I think Neek starts at the 3.
Okay. All right. So you think Neek will start at the 3. So you might have a lineup of Schroeder, LaVine, Neek, and you think with Sabonis and Eubanks. That's what you're projecting?
That's my projection.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it after the game on the post-game show on If You Don't Like That, Rhino and yours truly. We're looking forward to that. Again, that is coming up right after the game. The Kings and the Clippers tonight at 7 o'clock, and then on Friday at 7:30, it is the Kings and the Lakers. Be very interesting to see how Doug Christie will coach that game on Friday against the Lakers, if we would see a Russell Westbrook at all. But how is he? You asked him, I don't know if it was you or somebody else asked him a couple of days ago about a dress rehearsal, and he said, well, really with the 4 games instead of the normal 6 to 8, used to be 8, we don't have, and again, I'm paraphrasing what he said, the luxury to do, like, not play guys that we have to get ready for the season. So I'm still thinking that you'll see the regulars on the floor Friday against the Lakers. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, I think you'd see him at least start the game and play the first half.
Yeah. And I don't think you really need to see DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine play. I don't think you really need Sabonis play. You might want them to get into, again, the rhythm going against different players as opposed to yourself in practice.
Yeah.
But other than that, the one thing you just cannot afford right now, you cannot afford another injury.
No,
just can't
you
have
can't.
it.
You can't. And here's my other question, Grant. Do you think he ramps down the playing time for the two-way guys? Because their spot's already set. They can dress for 55 games and ramps it up for the guys that will be part of the actual roster full time.
Yeah, I'm going to say more yes than no. What about you?
Yeah, I think so as well. Now that you have the Russell signing, we'll have the Russell signing. I think maybe Dylan gets a few of those minutes, but I think they're going to ramp that down and give some more to Max. You got to give Max more than the 2 fourth quarters that he's gotten in the first 2 preseason games.
All right, again, if you want to get in on the show, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929.
Again, it's the Kings and the Clippers taking a lot of messages both on the chat line and the phone lines today, talking about Russell Westbrook, who is going to be playing for the Sacramento Kings this year. And the question is, how many minutes will he play, and how will Doug Christie divvy up the minutes now in the backcourt with Schroeder, Westbrook, Levine, Monk, Ellis? So you got 5 guys that are all expecting to play, that all have shown that they can play, and you only have 48 minutes to do it at each position, right? So if you have Schroeder and Westbrook taking up 48 minutes at the point guard position, and you have Zach LaVine playing 35 minutes, which I think is exactly what the number is going to be, or more. I know a lot of people think, no way, Grant, not with the bench. I'm going by what I saw in last year and how much Doug relies on LaVine and how much the owner loves Zach. All right. I could see him playing 35 minutes a game. That gives you 13 minutes left for Monk and Ellis. I still do not see how this is going to work. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. And even if you play Zach LaVine 32 minutes a game, okay, that still does not leave you a lot of time. That's 16 minutes a half, right? That's 16 minutes, 8 minutes a half that you got to divvy up between Malik Monk and Keon Ellis. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand how that's going to work. It just doesn't make sense to me. So let's talk about that. And I like the messages that I'm getting on the text line, 916-779-0929. The question is, are the Kings a better overall team than they were yesterday, or is the situation too complicated with the rotation from the 5-3-0? Well, I think it's too complicated now. I just gave you the minutes. If you are going to say that your backcourt at the number 1 position is going to be Schroeder and Westbrook for 48 minutes, and Zach LaVine's going to play, I believe, 35, but let's say I'm too high on that, and let's say it's going to be 32, because he does do something that is extraordinary. He is an amazing offensive talent. That gives you 16 minutes. Let's say I'm off by 2 minutes. Let's just call it 30 minutes a night. That gives you 18 total minutes for Malik Monk and Keon Ellis. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. I don't see how this works, Rhino. I keep on going over it time and time again, and I don't know how it's going to work.
Couple things. He had to play Zach LaVine those high minutes, and DeMar DeRozan. She just didn't have the bench because of injuries last season, or at the end of last season, especially the play-in game. I really think Doug is going to ride with the hot hands. And I'm saying probably Zach LaVine, and you want to bring the minutes down a little bit. I think the minimum amount he'll play is 30, but I would not be surprised on some nights where guys might finish out the game instead of Zach, depending on the type of game it is. That's what Doug Christie's done. It's what he talks about. The starting lineup doesn't matter. It matters who finishes the game. And ideally, you want to get the tread down on those guys. So maybe Doug goes to a bigger lineup than 10.
Good luck.
Just saying.
Well, I'm just saying good luck, okay? Because you're going to have a lot of unhappy players on the team.
You think
good
Zach
luck with
would
that.
be upset at 30 minutes a night?
Who?
Zach LaVine?
No, I don't think he'd be that upset at 30 a game. I think he'd be okay with that. I think he'd like to play a little bit more, but the word upset, no, I don't think he'd be upset. But let's just say it is 30 a game.
Okay.
We didn't. By the way, when I just gave you that lineup, I didn't even mention the name Nick Clifford.
Right.
So, are you going to play Nick at his most comfortable position, or are you going to play him at a position where defensively you think he might have some limitations? Right. I mean, so how does that all work if you include him as somebody that's going to get backcourt minutes?
It would have to be Keon, Monk, Neek, second unit, and Neek playing the 3. If you wanted to mix those guys in all together.
Well, isn't your second unit led now with your backup point guard, Russell Westbrook?
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be somebody's gonna be the odd man out, and it could be Westbrook. Grant, Westbrook might not be good. Dennis puts we have 3 all-stars now. Russell Westbrook has not been an all-star for a while. He is on the tail end of his career. So
he played 28 minutes a game last year, average for the Denver Nuggets. You think he's going to go from playing 28 minutes a night for a team that was in the Western Conference Finals to not playing at all, or maybe not playing? I don't see
Grant, that's going to be up to Russell Westbrook. That's 100% going to be up to how he plays, not whether it's good or bad, but if he's doing or playing the way that the Kings need him to play from this team concept. If he's going out there like Markelle Fultz last year and just shooting, no, I think Doug would sit him down.
Good luck with that.
Well, Grant, it's a low-risk move. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I understand that. You can waive him. I get that. It is. I'm 100% on board with you. It's a low-risk move. I didn't mean to say the Kings mortgage the future because they're tied into this guy contractually. No, you're 100% correct. I mean, they can waive him anytime they want. So I understand where you're coming from. I just think for right now, because they're not going to waive him next week or next month. I mean, for this brutal stretch that's coming up through the month of November without Keegan Murray, I'm not very optimistic about it.
No,
I'm just not.
I think you'll have a bigger problem if you're cutting Keon and Monk's minutes and Russ just walks in to most of those. You're going to have a problem, a bigger problem, I should say, in the locker room than you would have if Russ was not getting the minutes he wants.
Okay, so the season starts a week from tonight in Phoenix. So you think early on, assuming that Westbrook's in shape, because, again, he hasn't been in a training camp.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't be looking at more than 20 minutes a game right now, could we? I mean, that would be max.
No, I think that's
15.
17 is kind of my elevator right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Top floor.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds, folks. There's a lot of players that want to get on the court that have shown that they are very capable NBA players, and you can't put them all on the floor. And we haven't even mentioned Devin Carter. I think Devin Carter's completely out of the picture now. That's what I think.
And that gives me a little bit of heartburn because you heard how good of a September he had. I thought he's played very well in training camp. I thought he's been very good in practice. He shot the ball well, and defensively, he's looked really good. We're not even talking about his rebounding yet. So if I'm Devin Carter, I'm dejected. That's probably the most dejected player today, right?
And the teammates that you've talked to have all been very complimentary about his camp.
Very much so. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it, Grant. They took the day the NBA referees were there.
Yep.
It finished as a tie, the scrimmage, the last session of it. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. And they put a couple minutes on the clock and they said, no, we're not doing that. First bucket wins. Starters come down, miss. Devin comes up confidently and nails the three to end it. So
I saw the video on that that was posted somewhere online. Very confident.
Yep.
Here's the deal with Devin is he's not a true point guard.
Right.
He's a combo guard. And he was asked to do something at Summer League that's really not what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And because he had periods of, I guess, I don't want to call it poor play, but unimpressive play, I think that, and again, I'm speculating on this, that Scott Perry and the new Kings front office that includes B.J. Armstrong walked away from camp saying he's not the guy. That's what I think happened.
I think it's way too. If I'm Scott Perry and I'm B.J. Armstrong, how can you make that judgment when Devin has not played half a season in the NBA?
I understand, but they are going to be making judgments. We made judgments about Nick Clifford and Max Reynaud in Summer League. I mean, why would you could make a judgment the other way about Devin Carter, who did have NBA experience, where Nick Clifford and Max Reynaud had no NBA experience, and judgments were made by them. So why can't you make a judgment that's in a negative fashion towards a player that's already got NBA experience in Devin Carter?
Because you have to have minutes out of those guys, Grant. And maybe not now with Neek. You can argue his minutes are going down, but for the Kings theoretically to have success, you've got to get major minutes from your rookies just based on what you had to work with this offseason. I think there's a little bit more leniency on the back end, and that's where my heart burns at. It's like, you think Russell Westbrook today is good enough to kind of write off Devin Carter at this point, and it just doesn't set great with me, especially for a year, Napes.
I keep looking at the upside and I look at the future because Russell Westbrook is not part of the future. He is, for lack of a better term, a Band-Aid on a team right now. at a backup point guard position. That's all he is. And you're right. It's low risk. You are 100% correct. But for right now, without us having a crystal ball and knowing how the season's going to go, it does not make sense to me. Just doesn't make sense to me.
It's something we need to reevaluate after 10 games of the season. We need to look at the minutes. And here's the other thing. We've seen when Keon Ellis gets small spurts of minutes, he doesn't play nearly as good. When you give Keon some runway, every analytic category goes up for this team.
Yep. Well, I don't see how he's going to get significant run right now with the way the roster looks. Final segment, when we return, your phone calls at 916 if you want to get on, 779-0929. That is the same number to text the show as well. This from the 530. What's the plan for Devin Carter? When will he see time on the floor? I'm going to just tell you, I don't think he will get on the floor. That's my opinion. We'll be right back to wrap it up on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take one final look at the roadways. I-80 eastbound at Antelope Road. You got officials on the scene of a crash there. US 50 just on the approach to the I-5 interchange. You too are going to find officials trying to wrap up an earlier problem. Cap City Freeway eastbound at El Camino Avenue. That earlier problem still in the final clearing stages. And we are still dealing with some heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire Sacramento area. Allow yourself extra time as you head home with twice an hour traffic. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento is celebrating the fall by getting you equipped for a winter road trip. And if you're headed up 50 or 80 into those gorgeous Sierras, get there safely in a new or certified pre-owned 4x4 from Downtown Ford. Our lot on Howe Avenue is loaded with super clean pre-owned trucks and SUVs ready for the snow. F-150s, Rangers, Explorers, and the super hot Ford Maverick. And if there's a particular type of vehicle you've dreamed of owning someday, Downtown Ford probably has a used version of that same vehicle for a substantially lower price. Downtown Ford backs our pre-owned vehicles with an available 10-year, 100,000-mile extended service contract. We're the oldest Ford dealership in California, and we're super proud of our heritage of providing great American Ford cars and trucks to the people of Sacramento for more than a century. Visit us online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club-style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Hey, come on in.
Hi, Jack, in our subdivision.
Yeah, I saw your Suburban out front, so I thought I'd see how your kitchen and bath remodel was going.
We're delayed.
Oh, watch your step.
Waiting on subs.
Contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go with Kitchen Mart?
No, why?
Nothing. That's just why we went with Kitchen Mart. They don't use subs.
No subs?
No subs?
Yeah, with the exception of something very specialized, Kitchen Mart does everything in-house so they can finish on time and on budget. So your cabinets, countertops, plumbing, drywall, electric, and your contractor pulled permits, right? That's the law.
Was he supposed to?
You mean supposed to?
What'd I say?
Sub.
Sub.
Remodeling your kitchen or bath? 20,000 ecstatic customers agree. No subs means Kitchen Mart's in-house designers, craftsmen, and installers do it right and finish on time and on budget. Kitchen Mart, with 2 showrooms in Sacramento and Rockland. Call 362-7080 or go to kitchenmart.net for a free home appointment.
Kitchen and bath, no one does it better than Kitchen Mart.
The most trusted name in kitchen and bath remodeling since 1976.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All voters will receive a ballot in the mail and have several options to return their ballot conveniently, including a postage-paid envelope. You can also vote in person at any vote center and have access to your ballot in an accessible format, as well as receive assistance in multiple languages. Be sure to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 1-800-762-8019.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You ready for this quote from very respected NBA media member Zach Lowe? He said this today, quote, "I hate this team. I hate this roster. I hate the vibes. I hate everything. I think this is going to be a year from hell for the Kings. This is the Hindenburg of NBA teams this year." Bill Simmons followed it up by saying, quote, "This is the single dumbest NBA roster." How about that, Rhino?
Can't argue. Can you? About the roster?
Nope. Again, let me repeat that. I hate this team. I hate this roster. I hate the vibes. I hate everything. I think this is going to be a year from hell for the Kings. This is the Hindenburg of NBA teams this year. If you're not a history buff and you don't know about the Hindenburg, check it out.
It's an airplane.
It was basically a blimp.
Oh,
a big,
blimp.
Yeah.
I knew it was in the air.
It was in the air. Do you know that my aunt actually witnessed that in person?
Really?
When the Hindenburg caught fire and had that horrible disaster and burnt to the ground. Just a awful period of time. But, if you compare something to the Hindenburg, that means it's just going to self-destruct and blow up. That's exactly what was just said by Zach Lowe.
For you young kids out there, you youngsters, millennials, it's like putting Mentos in a Coke bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never done that. Have you done that?
I have not. I don't want to clean up that mess. I don't want to have my backyard sticky. No chance.
Yeah. What happens when you do that? It's a mini eruption coming out of the bottle. Is that what happens?
Exactly right. Exactly right. And here's the scarier part. What happens if you're eating Mentos and drinking soda? What's going on inside of you?
Oh boy. Don't ask that, because I have done that in the past. And now that you're bringing that up, that's kind of scary. Yeah. By the way, that if you're the airship, the Hindenburg, that was back in 1937. And it happened in New Jersey. And my aunt told me that she witnessed that in real life. How about that? Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. All right. If you want to get in on the program, remember, I'm getting a lot of great messages, 916-779-0929. Someone just said, just listen to the OP interview, and it was a good one. That game is arguably in my top 2 Kings games ever that I went to at Arco, along with Game 4 against the Utah 50-game season. That was the OP Sucks game, and the crowd was nuts. Pazier sent it in overtime with that crazy 3, and then Hersey Hawkins sent the crowd home with a corner 3 at the buzzer. Awesome game. Good memory there. Very good memory. Doug Christie can't officially comment on Sacramento's agreement with free agent Russell Westbrook until the deal becomes official, but he says he's always been a big fan of the former NBA MVP. Had a big smile on his face, too. Yeah, no, I know he can't comment. Nobody in the organization really can. I think everybody's been a fan of Russell Westbrook. I don't know if you could watch the NBA objectively and say you haven't been a fan of the way he played. I'm a fan of the way he's played, but that was in the past, not in the future. Speaking of right now, all right, the future, if you are going to be selling a home, buying a home, if you're looking for a home equity line of credit, I want to tell you about Village Financial Group, and a guy that I've known for 25 years.
broker owner, Spencer with Village Financial Group. He began his family-owned business the same year that I met him back in 2000. And again, if you're looking for a home equity line of credit, you're buying or selling a home, Spencer's very creative when it comes to financing. He's a financing specialist, and he has access to private money. You can call him or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And be sure and ask about the investor special. And if you go online at bfgloans.com, you can get more information on Village Financial Group, and you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. I hope that the pressure coming from the Sacramento Kings front office and ownership does not affect Doug to a point where he's coaching the team for somebody else, as opposed to how he is looking at it from his perspective and what needs to be done. That's what I'm really hoping.
So in some ways, does the Keegan Murray injury buy him a little bit of a pressure release?
Not with this owner. No. I don't think so. Because, all teams have injuries. Houston's without their starting point guard for the year. You're looking at other teams. John Morant has not been playing, although by the way, Jaren Jackson returned to action tonight for Memphis. That's a big boost for them. Morant is expected to be ready to go next week. He's had a sprained ankle, but there are some other players around the league that will be missing the start of the season. So, in my opinion, with the pressure from this fan base and the way it will be, and when you get comments like that from Zach Lowe, no, I don't believe that to be the case. I don't believe that to be the case. What about you? What's your opinion on that? Because I don't think it's going to buy him a lot of extra time.
I'm not educated on that enough to know. I haven't been around Vivek enough. I guess the question would be that I would counter instead of answering your question. I'm going to answer with a question. Do you think, considering Vivek and how you've been around him, do you think Scott Perry is in the middle of making another move on top of this? Or do you think this is like this smooths over the Keegan Murray injury for a month?
No, I think there's going to be another move, and I think it's going to involve Devin Carter. And I got to tell you, if I'm a team right now and I'm looking at a situation to add a promising backcourt player, I'm picking up the phone and calling about Devin Carter.
No doubt.
I'm going to take a flyer on him, and I'm going to figure out how I can get him on my roster, because I think that right now, if a player on a team needs to change the scenery, I think it's Carter.
I'm with you. And one team that sticks out to me, although Devin, as we know, is not a true point guard yet, is the Houston Rockets, Grant. Physical, in your face. He fits perfectly with what they do.
Oh, boy. Ime Udoka would love him.
2 peas in a pod.
Ime Udoka would love him. We'll see. So I could see that happening for sure. I just don't see a future for him here. I don't, especially we keep it, when we talk about the two veteran point guards and we talk about Malik Monk and we talk about Zach LaVine, we still aren't even mentioning Nick Clifford a lot.
No.
And all of a sudden, how are you going to fit him on the floor, and how are you going to get him, as Jerry thinks, you need to play him at least 20 minutes a night? How's that going to happen? It can't. There's no way that can possibly happen.
I wonder how much of this is going to bite Malik. I really do. You heard his name in trade rumors. He said that, he's got a good support system. And by the way, he bought property here in Sacramento over the offseason and land. I wonder how much this is a move that might try to free him up to go somewhere else, so you still can play Neek, so you can give Keon a look. And I'm not a fan of that, but I don't know, Grant. I don't think anybody can really make sense of this right now.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to guys that buy houses and property. If I had an annual salary of 25 and 30 and 40 and $50 million a year, I wouldn't really be concerned whether I'm staying at a place long. If I bought a house, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be something I'd give a lot of thought to. So I don't really pay attention to that. But what I would think is, if that's the case, his trade value then diminishes somewhat, does it not?
I think all of the guards, for the most part, trade value diminishes, because that you can't keep them all. and there's other massive holes on this roster to fill.
I don't agree with this message from the 631. Once you get rid of Devin Carter, it won't be considered a low risk move anymore. I disagree with you. I don't go that way. I wouldn't trade Devin Carter personally, but I don't see how he's going to step a foot onto the floor. I just don't see it. Barring an injury to somebody in the backcourt, I don't see how he could possibly get on the floor. There's just no way he gets on the floor. He's not going to get on the floor above Keon Ellis. He's not going to get on the floor above Malik Monk. He's not going to get on the floor above Schroeder or Westbrook. And you know, there's not a team in the NBA that plays 5 guards. Nobody plays 5 guards. Doesn't happen.
It becomes a much riskier move when you get rid of Devin Carter. If Russ going into his 18th season gets hurt, not to mention the upside on Devin Carter, he's played half of season in the NBA, barely has any film. You're getting rid of that upside.
Yeah, but they don't think he can play point guard. And they feel that Nick Clifford can, and that's what they want to do. So I don't agree with you. I don't think it changes the risk factor at all, because I don't think there's a belief within the organization that he can play point guard.
But you're going off of a completely unbalanced roster.
I understand. You and I both have. Why do you think Zach Lowe made that comment? About this roster and Bill Simmons backing it up? People from the outside look at this roster and they think it's a joke. I mean, seriously, they think it's just again, these are very respected, whether you like them or not. These are very respected NBA media types. Again, whether you like them or not, they are very respected. And when you see someone like Zach Lowe make a comment about the Sacramento Kings that is that detrimental, that is that negative, and that bad, you have to raise your eyebrows and go, whoa.
No, you do. There's these things online, I think they're called mukbangs, where you buy all these different foods, you put them in a blender and you blend them together and you eat them as one. That's, to me, what this roster is. You have all these different parts that don't really go great together, and you're just forcing them in. You're going to mix them in until it collapses. That's why Zach
And I
Lowe's
think you have a
that.
coach that means well, that loves the Kings and loves the community, and thinks in his mind that this team can play a certain style that I don't think they're capable of playing. So you factor all of that into it with a meddling owner and a new front office, and you might have the Hindenburg, as Zach Lowe said today. Could very well be the NBA's version of a Hindenburg. That would be a disaster. Wow, let's hope not. Rhino will join me right after the game. YouTube, if you don't like that, we'll talk about the game tonight against the Clippers and the Kings. Join us. That should be right around 9:30. Could be a little bit earlier. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and you'll know when we are coming on. My thanks to Bob Papa today. We've got some football to talk about tomorrow with Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. We'll go over the Kings game from tonight. We'll take your phone calls. Maybe we'll have some sound from Russell Westbrook. You never know. Make it a good evening, everybody. Talk to you in a couple hours on our YouTube channel. Bye-bye now. Thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP manager now at 916-389-0199 to book your table. Come experience the energy at HQ Showgirls, 851 Richards Boulevard, Sacramento. Open 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and until 4 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Visit HQNightclub.com, where the night begins and never stops.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All voters will receive a ballot in the mail and have several options to return their ballot conveniently, including a postage-paid envelope. You can also vote in person at any vote center and have access to your ballot in an accessible format, as well as receive assistance in multiple languages. Be sure to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 1-800-762-8019.